fight the power like BITCHUTE.
What's the status, 3?
I'm good, just making the world a better place, that's all.
Between earth and Between earth and God, I'm a byproduct. I come from a family of hustlers. That byproduct, money is the root of all evil. But I'm still trying to find a large profit. It's a mirage, they live in a facade. I was smoking thigh and had a talk with God. She told me why she named me John. I author scriptures to shed light on a darker picture. If you my dog, I'm barking with you. Be feeling the star wisdom. My homie Chuck told me it was giants on earth before me. And chemtrails, we inhale. That's another story. Mercury is used to check temperature. The sun is the spirit sinking. The moon is the portal. Assuming you important. Set your turn. Mars is wars as the M turn. And change words. I'm in the game but change service. I'm about to disassemble a bomb. I ain't nervous.
Dragon, Draco, Draconian, land of the giants, ice wall, Patagonian, lexicon, word wizardry, speaking Babylonian, highways of the vortex, shooting out the fallopian, low vibrating light, king of the material, mark of the beast, nanotech, scanning serial, the mental dead, carried by 6 to your burial, the lights is out. No resurrection, broken power grid, no interconnection. The Grim Reaper, I'm so collecting. 6-shot, hollow tip, rubber grip, Smith & Wesson. Bitch, repent when God is in your presence. Your aura is weak, uproot your essence. I walk through darkness, highly illuminated. Eyes blazing with fire, with blades double serrated. Hunting down clowns I double hated. Hit so hard your jaw is elongated. Shatter egos like they was glass plated. This was long overdue, past dated. One shot deal, it is as is and no recreation. All praises due to my parents for making. Always appreciate and never abated. Check it, yo, I always be analyzing to see who's fake. People acting Janice, running around two-faced, talking behind my back until they put in their place. You're a 2-course meal without saying grace on the internet. Talking shit through your fingertips, talking high power till your shine is eclipsed. Trying to ride a wave until your mind is seasick. Cement shoes and your ankles tied with 3 bricks. This isn't Grand Theft Auto, this is real life. I will piss on your grave and throw dick to your wife. This is a warning mixed with some advice. You might be king, but I'm the ace of spades, and you just reneged. This is food for thought, bitch, eat a grenade. This is what people want, to be treated like dirt. I tried being humble, but that was absurd. All the brainless pigeons flock together like birds, pecking for crumbs until they merge with the crossroads and chuck the demi-urge. I think they had enough, I took the trash to the curb. Let the torture begin and watch them burn. Here's the urn.
It's hard to keep it real with fake people. They can take love, mix it with hate, and make evil. I'm staring at 50 shades of gray people. It's a grand deception. Like K-Reno, they are who they say they isn't. On the internet, spreading everybody's business through a troll account. Talking foul, not knowing what goes around comes around. all about the narrative painted to control the clout. They gatekeepers trying to stop the ones trying to awake people. HOTC.
Boom. What's good, Kimba? Lucid. Fools and Tools. Top of the AM. Oh, shit. Still trying to wake up. The fucking oven outside. There'll be more music coming for those who enjoy my music. Sir Drop's music. People don't, I think, in my opinion, people don't respect, or not respect, but they don't enjoy talent like Sir Drop. His music's fire. But anyway, I'm going to get into chapter 2, the alienated ego. Well, chapter 2, part 1. This is part 3, because I didn't know a chapter could be fucking 40 pages long. It's probably more than that. There's 3 parts to each chapter, I'm realizing. So this is chapter 2, the alienated ego, part 1. It's called the ego self-axis and the psychic life cycle. Whatever that means. We will find out. And as far as the Trump thing goes, I really don't even give a fuck. I've listened to both sides. Both have good evidence, but in reality, I really don't give a fuck. Alright. Part 1, the ego self-axis and the psychic life cycle. Although the ego begins in a state of inflation, they love that word in this book, due to identification with the self, this condition cannot persist. Encounters with reality frustrate inflated expectations and bring about an estrangement between ego and self. This estrangement is symbolized by such images as a fall, an exile, an unhealing wound, a perpetual torture. Obviously, when such images come into play, not only has the ego been chastened, that's a good word, chastened, it has been injured. This injury can best be understood as damage to the ego self-axis, a concept which now requires further discussion. Clinical observation leads one to the conclusion that the integrity and stability of the ego depend in all stages of development on a living connection with the self. Fordham gives examples on a living connection with the self. Fordham gives examples of mandala images in children which emerge as magical, protective circles at times when the ego is threatened by disruptive forces. He also cites several occasions with children when the drawing of a circle was associated with the word I, and which led to some effective action the child had previously been unable to take. A similar occurrence takes place in the psychotherapy of adults, when the unconscious may produce a mandala image, which conveys a sense of calm and containment to a disordered and confused ego. The observations indicate that the self stands behind the ego and can act as a guarantor of its integrity. Jung expresses the same idea when he says, the ego stands to the self as the moved to the mover. The self is in prior existent, out of which the ego evolves. It is, so to speak, an unconscious prefiguration of the ego. Thus, ego and self have a close structural and dynamic affinity. The term ego-self axis has been used by Newman to designate this vital affinity. This ego-self affinity is illustrated mythologically by the Old Testament doctrine that man, ego, was created in God's the self-image. Also pertinent is the primordial name ascribed to Yahweh. I am that I am. Do not the words I am also define the essential nature of the ego? We therefore seem on firm ground when we postulate a basic connection between ego and self that is of crucial importance for maintaining the function and integrity of the ego. This connection is depicted in the diagram on page 5 by the line connecting the center of the ego circle with the center of the self circle and labeled ego-self axis. The ego-self axis represents the vital connection between ego and self that must be relatively intact if the ego is to survive, stress, and grow. This axis is the gateway or path of communication between the conscious person, between the conscious personality and the archetypal psyche. Damage to the ego-self axis impairs or destroys the connection between conscious and unconscious, leading to alienation of the ego from its origin and foundation. Before we consider how damage to the self-ego axis occurs in childhood, a few preliminary remarks are necessary. Every archetypal image carries at least a partial aspect of the self. In the unconscious, there is no separation of different things. Everything merges with everything else. Thus, as long as the individual is unconscious of them, the successive layers we have learned to distinguish, i.e. shadow, animus or anima, and self, are not separated but merged in one dynamic totality. Behind the shadow or animus problem or a parent problem will lurk the dynamism of the self. Since the self is the central archetype, it subordinates all other archetypal dominants. It surrounds and contains them. All problems of alienation, whether it be alienation between ego and parent figures, between ego and shadow, or between ego and anima or animus, are thus ultimately alienation between ego and self. Although we separate these different figures for descriptive purposes, in empirical experience, they are not usually separated. In all serious psychological problems, we are therefore dealing basically with the question of the ego-self relationship. This is particularly true of the child's psychology. Newman has suggested that the self may be experienced in childhood in relation to the parent, initially the mother. Newman calls this original mother-child relationship the primary relationship and says, in the primary relationship, the mother, as a directing, protecting, and nourishing source, represents the unconscious, and in the first phase, also the self, and the dependent child represents the childish ego and consciousness. This means simply that the self is inevitably experienced initially in projection
onto the parents. Thus, the early phase of the developing ego-self axis may be identical with the relationship between parents and child. It is precisely at this point that we must be particularly careful to do justice to both the personal historical factors and also the priori archetypal factors. The self is an a priori inner determinant. However, it cannot emerge without a concrete parent-child relationship. Newman has drawn attention to this and calls it the personal evocation of the archetype. During this phase of experiencing the self in projection, the ego-self axis is likely to be most vulnerable to damage by adverse environmental influence. At this time, what is within and what is without cannot be distinguished. Therefore, inability to experience acceptance or rapport is felt to be identical with the loss of acceptance by the self. In other words, the ego-self axis has been damaged, causing ego-self alienation. The part has become separated from the whole. This experience of parental rejection of some aspect of the child's personality is a part of the anamnesis of almost every patient in psychotherapy. By the word rejection, I do not mean the necessary training and discipline of the child that teaches him to restrain his primitive desirousness. I refer rather to the parental rejection that stems from the projection of the parent shadow on the child. This is an unconscious process experienced by the child as something inhuman. Thank you, Jared Jaguar. Experienced by the child as something inhuman, total and irrevocable. It seems to come from an implicable deity. This appearance has two origins. In the first place, the child's projection of the self onto the parent will give that parent's actions a transpersonal importance. Secondly, the rejecting parent, who is functioning unconsciously, will be acting in his own area of ego self-identity and will therefore be inflated in an identification with deity. The consequences from the child's standpoint is a damage to his ego self-axis that may cripple his psyche permanently. The self as the center and totally of the psyche, which is able to reconcile all opposites, can be considered as the organ of acceptance par excellence. Since it includes the totality, it must be able to accept all elements of psychic life, no matter how antithetical they may be. It is this sense of acceptance of the self that gives the ego its strength and stability. This sense of acceptance is conveyed to the ego via the ego self-axis. A symptom of damage to this axis is lack of self-acceptance. The individual feels he is not worthy to exist or to be himself. Psychotherapy offers such a person an opportunity to experience acceptance. In successful cases, this can amount to the repair of the ego self-axis, which restores contact with the inner sources of strength and acceptance, leaving the patient free to live and grow. Patients with a damaged ego self-axis are most impressed in psychotherapy by the discovery that the therapist accepts them. Initially, they cannot believe it. The fact of acceptance may be discredited by considering it only a professional technique having no genuine reality. However, if the acceptance of a therapist can be recognized as a fact, a powerful transference promptly appears. The source of this transference seems to be the projection of the self, especially in the function as the organ of acceptance. At this point, the central characteristics of the therapist's self become prominent. The therapist as a person becomes the center of the patient's life and thoughts. The therapist session becomes the central points of the week. A center of meaning and order has appeared where previously there was chaos and despair. These phenomena indicate that a repair of the self-ego axis is occurring. Meeting with the therapist will be experienced as a rejuvenating contact with life, which conveys a sense of hope and optimism. At first, such effects require frequent contact and wane quickly between sessions. Gradually, however, the inner aspect of the ego self-axis becomes increasingly prominent. The experience of acceptance not only repairs the ego self-axis, but also reactivates residual ego self-identity. This is bound to occur as long as the ego self-axis is completely unconscious. Oh man, I gotta take this screenshot. It's gonna talk about this. Hold on. I should have known this. Setbacks. I'm lacking. Fucking air conditioner sounds like a 1947 jet. Alright, here's one picture. Alright, now where was I? Hence, inflated attitudes, possessive expectations, etc. will emerge, which evoke further rejection from therapist or environment. Once again, the self-ego axis will be damaged, producing a condition of relative alienation. Ideally, in psychotherapy and in natural development, one would hope for a progressive dissolution of ego self-identity, so gentle that it would cause no damage to the ego self-axis. In actuality, this desirable condition scarcely ever occurs. The process of development of consciousness seems to follow the cyclic course represented in Figure 5, as indicated, and occur as long as the ego self-axis is completely unconscious, condition represented by Figure 2. I don't see a Figure 2. Hence, inflated attitudes, possessive expectations, etc. will emerge, which evoke further rejection. Dude, there's two of the same pages back to back. What's going on here? Lucky I noticed that. Alright. As indicated in the diagram, psyche growth involves a series of inflated or heroic acts. These provoke rejection and are followed by alienation, repentance, restitution, and renewed inflation. This cyclic process repeats itself again and again in the early phases of psychological development. Each cycle produces an increment of consciousness. Thus, gradually, consciousness is built up. However, the cycle can go wrong. It is subject to disturbances, especially in the early phases of life. In childhood, the child's connection with the self is largely identical with his relation to his parents. Hence, if this relationship is faulty, the child's contact with his inner center of being will likewise be faulty. It is this fact that makes early family relationships so crucially important in personality development. If the interpersonal family relationships are too damaging, the cycle may be almost completely interrupted. It may be interrupted in two places, points A and B in figure 5. A block can develop if sufficient acceptance and renewal of love does not occur at point A in figure 5. If the child is not fully accepted after punishment for misbehavior, the growth cycle can be short-circuited. Instead of completing the cycle and reaching the position of rest and re-acceptance, the child's ego can be caught in a sterile oscillation between inflation and alienation that builds up more and more frustration and despair. Another place of block can occur is at point B, if the environment of the child is so totally permissive that he has no significant rejection experiences at all. If the parents never say no, that also short-circuits the cycle. The whole experience of alienation, which brings consciousness with it, is omitted, and the child gets acceptance for his inflation. That leads to the spoiled child psychology and contributes to the provisional life in which limitations and rejections have scarcely been experienced at all. Figure 5 represents the alternation between inflation and alienation occurring in the early stages. It leaves out of account the later stages of development when the cycle is superseded. Once the ego has reached a certain level of development, it does not have to continue this repetitious cycle, at least not in the same way. The cycle is then replaced by a more or less conscious dialogue between ego and self. And tomorrow I'll read part 2, well, chapter 2, part 2, Despair and Violence. Damn, it was only a half hour? Huh, that's a short chapter. Huh. Maybe I'll read part 2. I don't know. Let me open the panel and see what happens first. It's been a minute, Jared, man. I thought you disappeared. I still be checking out your posts and stuff. Yeah, it's a book called Ego and Archetype. It's all right. A lot of people think the ego is all bad, but the ego can save you in situations too. I don't think the ego is all bad. I guess it's how you use it. Oh, you work third shift? What time is it? 8. So on the West Coast, it's 5. I watched Citizen, man. I like watching him because I like to hear all sides of something. And the wild thing is he predicted the assassination, which I give it to him. He said it a few days before it happened. But there's a lot of good evidence from both sides. I got to say that. Um, but like I said, does it really matter? Like, whatever, you know, like it's gonna happen regardless. Whatever's gonna happen is gonna happen, and we can't stop it. I only say that from experience. If anyone would like to come up, yeah, I gotta get a hold of one of them peace pipes. Lucid makes some fire peace pipes. If nobody comes up, I'll probably just keep reading part 2. There was something I wanted to show, man, a video. Anyway. Actually, I kind of don't want to read part 2 because there's so much said in that first part that, you know, that's why I don't read too many chapters of this, because there's so much to take in. They use so many deep words, right, to make it sound good. Like every other fucking word they use. But other than that, it's a pretty good book. I don't agree with everything, but I was reading this book about Hyperborea, but it was just, I don't know, it was dragging on. Yeah, Lucid, if you got time, come up and show people your peace pipes, man. Crystal says, how would one go about ordering one? If you're still here. Yeah, show Crystal what they look like. If you got time. I don't know if you're with your son and stuff, but if you got time, you know, show your product, man. And I'm always trying to help people. Yeah, the talent is, you're right about that, Jared. Between music and crafts, beat making, there's so much talent. Like even Renegade One, I can name so many people with talent. Lucid, not only he plays the guitar, Lonnie plays the guitar. There's so much talent. You know, if I could somehow, I could make all my music sound better if I had patience and master the app of BandLab. I could make it all sound clear, and you know, like there's a space in that song I want to fill that space in, because to me it just sounds unprofessional. That's the word. It's fucking AC. Yeah, I mean, a lot of people say I went off, but that day, I can't lie, man. It was flowing that day. I wrote that in like 10 minutes. And then I followed up with the other one, the other track. You know, people tell me it's fire, and then it mentally fucks with me because now I'm trying to match the verse. But that's good because it's a challenge, and I like a challenge. Damn, Houston. Houston, we have a problem. Plus, I like making music with drop too, man. I just don't make music with anyone. Not like I'm some fucking super lyrical person, but some people like my stuff, some people don't. And I think some people that don't just be hating for certain reasons, but that's all right. I like to hate. I take it with the good and the bad. I like the hate and the positivity. I like them both. I look at the hate as something good. Well, I'm gonna switch over to my laptop. Start looking up some stuff. If anyone sees a wrench gone, it's not most likely you didn't do nothing wrong. But a lot of people that haven't been back in a while, I took wrenches because I thought they were gone, and I've been having a lot of issues with hate and whatever. You know, people are gonna be mad that I'm gonna start timing people. I try to be humble, like I said in my rhyme. It's dead serious. But I don't think most people like being, when people are humble, they think I'm soft or something. Yeah, I agree with that seriously, Ray. And that's even if they really are sending it to other countries, you know? That they could just be saying that and pocketing the money. I don't trust none of those. Left, right, center. You know, I know the government are people doing their job and they're regular people, but I gotta call it how I see it. Fuck all that, man. Street, being a citizen, it's all the same laws. You know, when you're in the street and you break laws, you get fucked over. When you're a citizen and you break laws, you get fucked over. But the government, they break laws, their own laws. They're like the Bible, man. The God in the Bible is a hypocrite, just like the fucking government is hypocritical. It's all the same to me. To me, the God in the Bible, what happened? Oh, is not the God that, or the creator that I know exists. What's up, Lucid? Let me take it.
What up, Chuck?
Let me take the background off so I have a little. Guess I'll put that background on. Something that's not moving, so it doesn't take up all my fucking. All right, let's switch over.
Yeah, bro. Just putting on some final touches on yours, dude, and it'll be ready to send. Hey, dude. Check them out. I'm not at my house, but so I wouldn't be able to show you yours.
It's all right.
Yeah,
Hold on, let me put you on full screen. All right, go ahead. I don't know if Crystal's still in here.
Oh shit.
Yeah, when I think of Satan, they call him the king of this realm for a reason. I think Satan's within everybody, man. The king of the material is Satan because the low vibrating light materializes. That's how I see it. If there was an actual Satan, I'd smack his bitch ass right in the face. Those are nice peace pipes.
Yeah, I just smoke tobacco out of them. Most do.
What did you think, Jared, about the whole Trump situation? I didn't see if you put anything for gematria down. Because I see some, I'm not saying you, Jared, but I see other channels. Like, I watch you. What's that dude's name, man? Can't even think of it. But some people take gematria, it seems. Like, some people manipulated it. But do they use gematria? I think so. That's one of their tools. Like, a lot of Jewish people swear by that shit. Even though, to me, it's a man-made structure. Like, it's a man-made,
I don't know, man. I've had some pretty wild experiences with taking gematria values and then translating it over to Strong's concordance, and some of the messages, quote unquote, that come through are pretty synchronistic. It's crazy because it's like there's definitely a force out there that is trying to communicate with you. At that point,
it is. I think this technology is, you know, if people look at our energy, that's the source. That's God to me, man. Or now, I don't even want to use the word God because I think we're all gods, but the source, the creator, is the energy. Like, let's say someone flicked all this energy off, everything would die. Everything.
Come on, dude, we gotta get your shoes on.
I think they're definitely channeling, and so much, man, to get into. Even when they take your body to the chop shop where they put it in the ground, they take your avatar, your vehicle, to the chop shop, take all the engine apart inside, and drain all the oil, the blood, and who knows what they do with that shit. I think the blood is a big part of who we are. It's all in the whatever DNA is. You know, that's what they label it, DNA. It has everything about us in it, our whole genetic makeup. So they say.
Damn, that interview they had yesterday, homeboy looked like Beaker, man. I swear to God, with his orange hair, which is 33, orange. And then if you look up, you in gematria, the letters 33, I think that equals 66, if I'm not mistaken. I'm not a master of gematria. I watch enough of it to. I just don't get the ciphers too much. There's too many ciphers. Yeah, I think it's staged or somebody really put a hit on him because, excuse me, I was watching Dane Calloway. He showed a video where they were saying the police that the only way the person could have got in, basically, they're saying, is by an inside job because that whole area is surveyed and protected. So how the fuck did this guy get by all that? Somebody let him through. Somebody ignored that he was over there. That's what I think. I think it was an inside job. You know, whether people want to, they're all one, but they fight with each other just like gangs fight with each other. You know, people don't like each other. It's just life. It's like real life. Like, you know. So, and like I said, if they paid a hitman, would they give him $10 and a Happy Meal? Because motherfucker couldn't hit a fucking standstill. His aim was trash. They paid fucking $10 and a Happy Meal. It was like Mike Tyson jumped out of the stands and bit his ear and shit. This cat got hit with a BB. Yeah, the wrestling. A lot of people's bringing that up. The WWF cutting his ear. Peace, Truth Zone. You know, and to be honest, police don't even need to do proper investigations no more. People like us do all the investigating for them. That's all they got to do is go on the internet and all their work's being done for them.
Yeah.
You got time, Truth Zone. You want to come up? You're more than welcome to. I'm supposed to be doing a show with Access, but excuse me, coming up a one-on-one. Access, I don't care what nobody says. He's got a great mind, and he knows his stuff. You know, some people said they don't come around because I was reading about witchcraft and stuff. Like, I personally am not targeting any one individual or downing anyone, but they did proper research, they would realize witchcraft isn't all evil. To me, it started off as with the earth and earth and stuff like that. Then evil people took it and twisted it, but it's not all evil. And I sure as fuck don't dabble or dibble into the spiritual part of it. I don't fuck with deities and stuff because I don't know shit about it, not enough. And B, I don't want nothing attached to me. I'm all set. If you can conjure up a spirit, you're the power. So what the fuck do you need to conjure them up for and have them wear beads and certain things and have them stuck to you? I just don't get it. I really don't. If you're the power. I have some friends that do Santa Maria. And I'm like, man, you guys are bugging.
Yeah, I mean, really, all you really got to do is just live in balance, man. Balance yourself. Try to balance the people around you. If you can help them, you know, in a way. If they need help, you know. Basically, just keeping good intention and acting upon that, you know.
Yeah, I was reading about. I had a book I was reading called "The Complete Science of Witchcraft," and I stopped reading it because I had my reasons. Like it was given the exact way to conjure up, and Axis was like, "What are you doing and what's your purpose?" And I thought about it afterwards, and I said, "Damn, I didn't even think of that while I was reading it." I said a rookie could fucking conjure something up because I basically read how to, and they don't even know what they're doing. It would be on me. So I stopped reading that shit. Even though I wasn't completing the spells, I wasn't even reading them myself. I was skipping over them. But anyway, what's up, True Zone?
What's up, man? Thanks for having me on again, bro.
Anytime.
Yeah, what's up, man? How's what's the topic? How's everything been with you, man?
Pretty good. Just staying afloat.
Yeah, I feel that, man. It's been a wild week, right?
Yeah.
They pulling off major psyops, major false flags, you know, on the television.
Mm-hmm.
Some people seem to like. I watch Citizen Man because he's deep into politics, and I like to hear both sides. I know a lot of people are saying it's fake, and then I seen evidence to show it's real. But either way, real or fake, what they want to do is going to happen regardless.
Right. The reason why the reason why they're pulling off major false flags like that with Trump because you know they know who's going to be president 5-10 years before they even get inside of the White House, and plus presidents they're presidents of White House Incorporated. They're not the president of a country per se. They're president of a corporation. So anything they do with Joe Biden and Trump, it's all we know it's all scripted, but it's just we in a matrix. So nothing here is real anyway. So anything that happens here is really not real. Like you know what I'm saying?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, we live in a scripted reality. So the whole Trump fiasco is just to give him a savior, a messiah complex, you know, to his supporters. Because a lot of people don't know MAGA, MAGA, MAGA is the highest degree in the Church of Satan. So if you're a MAGA fanatic, that means you support, that's the highest degree in the Church of Satan. That's what MAGA means. It's all demonic. So that's why I'm 36 years old, bro. I've never voted before. I've never voted. Just because I always knew it was all nonsense, you know. Because my dad and mom, they're quote unquote black, and they've been voting Democrat most of my life. And I tell them all the time, I said, why vote? Nothing has changed. People, we still living in the ghetto. People still poor. You still got to get up and go to work. It's still the same old nonsense. A million plus kids are still going missing every year. So what's the point of voting for these parasites? And plus, we already know that child trafficking goes on at the highest level of government. So
Well,
the same ones that you vote, huh?
I'm gonna agree with you on everything you just said. Everything. And everybody just says otherwise, then you don't know what the fuck you're talking about.
Right.
Yeah, I was thinking.
So yeah, man, kudos to you, dude.
I was thinking, Jared, that they are trying to write a king script for him, making him the last president allegedly. I think they want Trump to be the leader of the world. That one world bullshit, even though they portray him to be for the Constitution and the people, he's just telling the people what they want to hear, man, because people are sick and tired of these motherfuckers.
Right. back during Trump's presidential seat, he gave away all power to FEMA during Operation Warp
Yeah.
Speed. He gave all.
Yes,
He
he
gave.
did.
He gave away,
Yes, he did.
yeah.
That's
The
terrible.
Constitution they've been ripped it up. It's been got ripped up. The contract is over with. You gotta think the United States is a corporation, so the contract expired back in 2012, I believe. I heard that from somewhere else, but yeah, the contract is over with. It's past due. So this is why you seeing their corporation closed down. If y'all hadn't noticed, y'all seeing a lot of stores shut down out of nowhere. A lot of places are just going bankrupt. That's because the matrix is starting to dematerialize. The contract is up. The more as time go on, you're gonna start seeing more of the corporation shut down, and it's gonna go more towards a one world, one religion, one world plutocracy, Luciferian ran system. I mean, it's already that now, but it's time.
Different timeline.
Right.
Different paradigm. Yeah, absolutely. And the thing is this: we don't have to go with that paradigm.
No, not at all.
Because we're more powerful than any of them could ever possibly fucking imagine.
Right.
I know that.
Right.
Charles, you know that. And obviously you do too, man. I'm Lonnie, by the way. Nice to meet you, buddy.
What's up, Lonnie?
Nice to meet you too, bro.
I'm at work, man, when I shouldn't be, but I am. Trying to figure it out, man. Trying to figure it out.
I never heard of any of this.
Of what? What is it? You're bogging out, dude. You're bogging.
We got played with that whole deal. Yeah, I forgot not to move the mouse when I'm speaking.
But here's the thing, though, Charles. Like you said before, who's to say that this Jesus character is not worse than that Lucifer character?
Yeah, you're right. Jesus Christ, the Jesus character is Lucifer. They're one and the same because he's
You think they're the same energy?
Right, there's the same entity because there's Jesus said verbatim in the Bible in the New Testament that he's like the bright morning star, and Lucifer calls himself the bright morning star. So they're one and the same. They trick the world. What they say, the devil, the greatest trick he ever pulls is to convince the world he don't exist. But in the Bible, he tells they tell them themselves throughout the Bible.
Here's the thing I'm saying is, so when you give yourself to the Lord, which nobody would be a Lord, but anyway, once you give yourself to the Lord Jesus Christ, then you ultimately get permission to be harvested. You consent.
Right. And you put yourself inside of that black cube, because if you look at the Trump Tower, it's a black cube. If you look at this cube in Mecca, it's a black cube. When you graduate, the indoctrination the indoctrination camps they call schools, you put yourself in the cube because they put the cube on top of your head. Why do you think they always say think outside of the box? So once you give yourself to Jesus Christ, to the Lord, the God of this matrix, you put yourself inside of that box, inside of the hexagon.
And here's the thing, bro. I absolutely know it to be factual because I think we live in a Christian-based society right now, and I'm in a situation to where I happen to see in real time on a daily, and I see through all the bullshit, and what everybody thinks of as normal isn't normal at all, and I see right through it, and I feel their energy, and I'm going to tell you this, that people inherently are bad. They're bad, man. 90% of the beings out here right now are all complicit in the fucking bullshit going on right now. I guarantee fucking it because I see it on a daily.
Right. And plus, people that call themselves Christians, the ancient word for Christian is Creighton. Creighton means confused idiot. So if you call yourself a Christian, that means you're calling yourself a confused idiot. You see how they get us to curse ourselves?
Yeah. But here's the thing. Well, they do it. They do it with the language for one, because in the beginning was the word. Okay, so we know that the word is powerful. So the language that we speak we're being bound by the trickery and deception in the design of the language alone.
Right. They use technology with everything. Everything that they do is technology. That's why the Trump psyop was technology. Even like when they say God bless you, they saying God be bless you. So
You
right
definitely find out what blessed means. Then you figure a lot of shit out.
Right. They say God bless you. You're really saying God be bless you. It's all technology. It's a form to get us to curse ourselves, right?
Yeah, absolutely. I've only been going through this for about 2.5 years, man, and I consider myself in the infancy stage of knowing anything, and I don't know shit. I only know what people share with me, like you, and it's like I said, exchange of information is just so very important.
Right. And Warriors just had the cubes up on the screen there. Those cubes, the box.
Yeah, I'm about to pull them up. This shit.
Well, there's a limited amount of us. There's not very many of us here, dude.
No, not at all. You gotta think we're surrounded by majority of NPCs, clones, and everybody has a hive mentality. Everybody's synchronicity with each other because once you wake up, well, I don't like really saying wake. I like saying having a total recall. Once you recall who you are and start remembering things and start retaining knowledge and intellect, you can start noticing that majority of the sheep are hive minded. They all think alike. They all have the same thought process. So when they having verbiage with each other in dialogue, you start to notice, like, man, they talk about the same shit. And then when you come along talking about anything that's conscious, they automatically shut down because they never reprogram their brain. The brain is a computer. So you have to deprogram to reprogram. So when you start coming to talking this conscious shit, they don't want to hear it. They automatically shut down and start calling you crazy. I've been calling that
new age shit.
Right.
Anything that has to do with not being a fucking sleepwalker, you're labeled, and that's fine. But if you know anything about anything, then you shouldn't say anything bad about anybody.
Right. I think they demonize free people that like us that are free thinkers. We're demonized now. Like it's hard, for me to even have, verbiage and dialogue with anyone now because I feel like if I say something, I try to keep it at surface level with everybody that I come across, except people like you and Warrior and people that on my YouTube platform. But
right, well, yeah, man. Drop your link in the back chat, dude. I'll sub to you. I definitely would check you out for sure. Definitely vibe with you. That's a definite.
Right, I got you, man.
Yeah, but I've been going through some shit for about 2.5 years, man, and everybody on this channel knows about it. I'm what they label as a targeted individual, but I don't identify as one because I'm no victim, and I'm very fucking powerful, and I transmute these energies that they fucking hit me with. I don't know how. I just started doing it.
So this one, right?
Certain shit within me is unlocked and started. It's just I've been going through a weird time, man. You know what I mean? Like I know shit, I can feel shit, like energies and shit like that. Evidently, I'm some type of healer, but I don't do that no more. Yeah, man, it's just shit people wouldn't believe. You know what I mean? Something I don't really talk about with anybody.
Right, kind of like supernatural. Some supernatural shit. Yeah. I've had that happen to me too, man. I've been out and about. I've had helicopters fly over me, black Hawk helicopters fly over me, man. I've had like military planes buzz me. So,
yeah, I've had the F-35 fighter jets, 2 of them fucking hit way below flight deck, dude, and just buzzed my ass up when I was at my storage unit. The day before that, I got buzzed by 2 Black Hawk helicopters at tree level.
Right.
I got on video, both of them on video.
Right, man. I believe you, bro. Yeah, we live in that. What's the name of that one movie? Enemy of the State type of simulation, type of Matrix. They gotta, because you gotta think the God here is jealous, so he wants to know everything that we do.
I told them come and get it. Here I am. Come and get some. They're all cowards, man. They're all pussies and shit. Yeah, they're very weak.
This right here is, you could see the cube, even the cross unfolds from a cube. Then you got Mecca is a cube. And like he was saying, in all these cities, they got a cube right here. And there's more than just these four, because I've looked.
Yeah.
Yeah,
the symbolism everywhere.
Yeah, the cube is the personification of the 3D reality. Because what we got in our hands, these phones are like shaped like boxes, are shaped like cubes.
These are the mirrors. These are the black mirrors.
Right. Yeah. They got them cubes everywhere. That's why I tell everybody, when you graduate high school, they put the cube on top of your head, and you can be stuck inside of that box until you become a free thinker. Until you like, oh no,
yeah, absolutely right. So we're crystalline, man.
Look at Trump. Yeah, they playing the Trump card heavy right now, man. The Illuminati card game. I did a video about this on my first 2 channels ago about the Illuminati card game. Break it down, like how they everything's being played out in real time via the Illuminati card game. Like how they don't predict. I
just heard about that the other day.
Yeah, they really don't predict.
I'm gonna pull the card up because what it says is mind blowing.
Hey, go ahead and elaborate on that. Tell me a little bit about it, because I just heard about it the other day and I don't know a whole lot about it. So could you?
The Illuminati,
fill me in on it?
I got you. The Illuminati card game came out in 1996, I believe. 94, the first one came out. So even with the Simpsons, they really don't predict anything. You know how they have a crystal ball. They able to go back in time because they took.
I know. But we're the original time travelers.
Right. They stole our technology and reverse engineered everything. So they not able to first see nothing, because you know that the CIA has an office in Hollywood, and you know, vice versa.
Yeah,
so they
use the wood of a holly tree to make a wand, but I think their wand is the TV antenna and the Tower of Babel, which are the towers that send signals for the TV. That's the Tower of Babel.
Damn.
Well, yeah, I mean, it could be. It could be, man.
Because that's where all the languages go through the TV antennas and the signals.
I was thinking that maybe the tower might have been our spinal column, but
could be too.
Right, and what's his name? Sir Ray just said they broadcast spells. Right, even after you get through watching a TV programming via television, because they telling lies to your vision, they cast a spell on you too. Because what does it say at the end of the movie? It says cast. So they already done casted a spell on you at the end of the movie.
Spellcasters. What the fuck is going on here?
Right.
Yeah, Trump, man. I do believe Trump gonna be the last president though, because after him it won't be no more Democrat or Republican or Democrat. It won't be no more of these presidents.
They're all in the same squad anyway.
Right.
Read what it says in the card. It says, at any time, at any place, our snipers can drop you. Have a nice day. Now that's wild. And it's
you see how they got to put the truth in plain sight every time, because we're part of a free will universe, so they have to show us what they do, and like they have to show you what they're doing, because that's that way they don't have to deal with the problem.
But look at Trump's face. Look at the eyes. You could tell he's got a mask on. That's somebody playing the role of Trump. I mean, you could clearly see that the eyes around. I know people could say he got goggles on when he goes to the tanning thing. Whatever, but I can clearly see that's a fake nose, and you could see near the bridge of the nose and the eyes that's someone else behind the mask. That's what I think.
Right, you're right, warrior bro. These are they're called skinwalkers, man. These are a hybrid reptilian race species beings that are wearing masks that are playing roles.
But these vessels, they have the reptilian blood in them too.
Right. They do. They're
Look at the
hybrid.
skin. Yeah.
Yeah, they're all wearing masks. They showed us in The Simpsons when Homer Simpson came down those stairs and ripped the damn mask off the politician. They were reptilians. They showed us already.
Right.
Yeah, these are all fictional characters. Trump is just like the Jesus Christ character. They're one and the same fictional characters that never existed. They really don't exist. Shaquille O'Neal don't exist. LeBron James don't exist. None of these characters exist. They only exist here in the Matrix.
So what do we do, man?
You free your mind from all the nonsense.
You better yourself, man. As far as coming together and trying to defeat these people, that's like a 1 in a billion. It took me 8 years to realize unity is so far-fetched, and there's so many people that are lost in it. I just, through experience, say it's up to them to fall on their face and lift themselves up. You know, nobody told me, but people did tell me information, but I went to seek it. It's not like people just, you know, appeared out of nowhere. I was searching and researching and looking. I've always been like that ever since a teenager. I knew the government was crooked since I was 11 years old, thanks to my grandfather and many other people.
Right. That's what's up, man. That's what's up. The majority of the people in my family, bro, are asleep, man. They like real deal zombies. So it's about breaking family curses too. I'm one of the first ones of this generation to break these curses, the curse of religion, all these different, all these paganistic ideologies that were put up on us. You know, I had to like break them. You know, I was willing to be the oddball out of my family. I've always been the black sheep anyway, so I'm a black sheep to my family and to society, but I'm okay with that, you know. Because I seek truth and I seek knowledge. So I feel like all of us are the same, because once you come into truth and you start seeking more and more, you go down the rabbit hole. The rabbit hole is so deep, it's infinite. It has no ending.
And you know what else I realized? When you take a cross is an unfolded pyramid also. The Iron Cross, this one right here in the center, that's an unfolded pyramid.
Right. It's all symbology. Symbology is going to be their downfall. But then again, in the same breath, they took the pyramids and made it a bad thing. Just like the 5-pointed star is a hexahedron. They took it and demonized it and turned it and inverted everything. When they hijacked this planet, they inverted everything. So the 5-pointed star is just
Yeah.
Now go ahead, finish what you were saying.
Always, you wanted me to pull this shit up
you
here.
You can call me Chuck, man, or Charles. That's my real name.
Yeah.
I call myself Wandering Warrior, but yeah, my name's Chuck or Charles.
Good. No, I can't.
Yeah, I got you, bro.
Allah, arm, leg, arm, head. We are God. I know people don't like to hear it. A lot of people tell me I'm full of shit, but that's fine. I know I'm God.
Been going through it and talking to them and trying to get.
Yes, we are, man. That's our trip. We got in our true form, man. That's what we are. We gods, man, and goddesses.
I don't know what we're doing.
A 5%er told me. He said, "Chuck, you are God," and I was shocked.
Yeah.
God means generator, operator, destroyer. So we generate energy in these vessels. We operate these vessels. We operate our own minds, our own biology, and we destroy it. We destroy their fallacies. We destroy their indoctrinations. Right when we come into truth. Right, we destroy their whole. We destroy their matrix by even talking truth into existence. Because the more we come into consciousness, it dematerializes their simulation. It dematerializes the matrix. So we destroy things. So we are guys, generate, operate, destroyers.
Now, I zoomed in on the wound in his ear the best I could, and it kind of does look like a graze, like almost took his ear off, but I paused the video and like zoomed in, but it doesn't do justice. I muted you, Lonnie. I don't know if you're on the phone or what, but we could barely hear you, and it sounded like you were on the phone, so...
Yeah, that stuff. That blood. That's probably that. I ain't gonna say that. I don't want to get you struck down. That's probably a infant's blood on his ear, man. They that demonic and that dark, man. They probably put kids' blood on his ear. That was number one big ritual, man. That was a Masonic ritual they did. All Freemasonry. Somebody had on a brick shirt in the crowd. It's all Freemasonry.
Yeah, and the guy they were speaking to had orange hair. He looked like Beaker. This guy. Let me pull the picture up. I'm gonna see if I can find that interview so people understand more what I'm talking about.
Right. The interview of the woman that was on there, she had on an orange shirt too. All symbology for their ritual on the television vision because they
hair. Like this. Remember the guy? He had the orange hair. And they were interviewing him. He had a red hat on, the Make America Great Again hat, and he had orange hair and an orange shirt, which is 33. He looked like Beaker. I shit you not. It's funny.
Yeah, man. They can't fool everyone, man. They can't fool the ones they can see.
Now, I never seen this, the Ouroboros, which to me is not evil. People say that's the serpent. They think all serpent symbology is evil when a serpent means like sound wave or sine wave or energy. A lot of our ancestors used the serpent because of the way it moves on the ground. It moves like a sine wave or sound.
And I think you're right. I think it personifies. No, that's for your Kundalini rising, the dragon. Yeah, this right here is as above, so below. The 5-pointed star said as above, got the sun above, and then below, as above, so below. But they, like I said, they inverted everything and turned everything demonic.
Right. I'm glad you understand that because, you know, I always say, man, to defeat an enemy, you must know your enemy. You must know how they move and what. How can you identify dark witchcraft if you don't study it and know what it is? I'm not saying practice it and conjure shit up, but you must know symbols. You must know what you're up against. This is war, man. We've been at war since we came out of the womb, whether people want to admit it or not. We got to figure out what foods we're eating, figure out how to clean the body, because the body is a temple, and without health, you ain't getting wealth.
Right. Right. Yeah. We've been in a perpetual state of war since our inception, since we came out of our mom's birth canal, out of a portal. Yeah, we have. It's a silent war being fought with our weapons on every level.
Yeah. They hit us with darts when we were born. I don't want to say the word, but they were darting us up as children, man. And all these birth certificates and stuff, you know, if my mother knew better, you know, should have birthed me at home. You know, like a hospice, hospital, all that negative ass wordplay they use. Like a hospital.
It's better to do a natural birth in a dark room. The reason why they want you born in a room full of lights, that way they can erase your memory. That's why they don't want you. They don't want women doing natural births at home in a dark room with candles lit. It's better to it's better to be born like that. That way your child has a better chance of remembering who they are. Because once your face hits those lights in that hospital, your whole memory is gone.
Damn,
those
Lonnie.
Lights.
My bad. Lonnie dipped out. Hoping to get mad, I muted him, but he was on the phone. That's what I heard. Go ahead, my bad.
Yeah, that's all I wanted to say about that, man.
Yeah, when I seen this picture, it was clear as day. That's fucking Trump, man. It's wild how people say they predict. How do you predict the future? This rich guy said in I have it on one of my videos from a long time ago. I think I might have put it on the short video, but it was in X-Files. The lady asked the guy, "How do you predict the future?" And he goes, "Basically, to predict the future, you create it. That's it. It's simple as that. Somebody could say something about the future, but the only way it becomes a prediction if it plays out. Other than that, it's simple. Right. It's not like people are like predicting the future because they have more power than anyone else. They just play it out like Revelations. All they got to do is play out things it says in the Bible, and people will fall for it.
What it is, man, they're planting these seeds, and we're manifesting their bullshit. You see what I'm saying? We're helping them create this bullshit.
Right.
Somehow, some way, we got to break that spell and that magic, and start doing what we do, and that's procreating.
Yeah, this lady, Sugar Seas, had sent me these crystals, man.
Yeah, I got a bunch of them.
Such nice crystals.
He said this is Revelations 3:13. Revelations means to reveal something that was once hidden.
Right.
This is why we.
That's all deception, man.
This is why we getting everything in real time. And the apocalypse means to reveal something that was hidden. That's what the apocalypse means. People say the end times.
We have all broken the veil. We broke that shit.
Right.
It just happened to me.
I want to play this video real quick. I want to see what people think about this. Somebody explain to me what the fuck this is. Check this 18-second video. Check this out. That's wild shit, bro. I got a rope on it. I'm like, what the fuck?
Play that again, man. Play that again. Wow. Damn, Lucy, what was we just looking at, bro?
That was some weapon the Chinese use, I guess. I don't know why it has a rope on it, but it's some serious shit, man.
So fucking bomb on a rope, huh?
Yep. Yeah, these people, man. It just blows my mind how soldiers continuously fight these politicians' wars. It just is mind-blowing.
They're not even real wars, man. They're fucking made-up wars. It's all, and they don't even happen.
Yeah, man. It's the reptilians, man. They just putting on a show on the world stage, man. No, every war that's ever been fought has all been preposterous. Like the World War II was fake. All them wars was fake. The real war is the war being fought against us. You know, when they came here.
The spiritual war.
It's a spiritual war before physical. Yeah, but all those wars are all fake. The war in Israel versus Iran, Israel versus all that's just fake, man. Ukraine versus Russia is all fake because they all the same bloodline. The wars against us. They don't fight with each other. They might have behind the scenes disagreements and shit like that. But as far as like going to war with each other, no, nah, they all the same.
The silent war.
Quiet weapons for silent wars. That Pull Army album. Shit.
But like I said, man, you can transmute them energies. Spirit. It's all spirit. Spirit to do it for you. You ain't got to do a damn thing. You're protected, man. You know that, right?
Right.
I can contest to it. Dude, I've got thousands of motherfuckers ganging up on me, and I'm telling them how much of a pussy they are, and I laugh in their face. Yeah, they're weak, dude. Yeah, I agree. It's not doing me any good, but I just it gets frustrating sometimes, man. This shit is it's all to keep us distracted from what we're supposed to be doing, and that's energy work, meditation, being a better version of you every day, and just being a good being.
Peace,
You know what I
Lucid.
mean?
Thanks for coming up. You dipped out.
Hey, much love, Lucid.
Yeah, respect. I was gonna ask Warrior, I got a question, bro. We was talking about like us coming up during up in the school indoctrination back in the day, and you had mentioned that you never did good coming up in
Me
school,
neither.
like as an adolescent.
Me neither.
Yeah,
I was a troubled youth, man. Locked up my whole juvenile and adolescent life from the age of 11 to 20-something years old, man. But I'm not the same person.
Right, but the school system is ran by a bunch of parasites. Because I was wanting to mention, if y'all remember that movie, The Faculty, that came out in the 90s?
Yep.
We had Usher in it, and the whole school,
Yep.
the principals, everybody was fucking parasites. That's what high schools are ran by. Number fucking parasite alien motherfuckers, man. So once they see that you're not a conformist, this is when they go hard on you. I think it starts back when you're in school. They already know.
Here's what I get. No fucking airport around me, man.
There's some wild symbolism.
Yeah, and there's symbology. The world, the Twin Towers, man. That symbology. They ain't nothing but an energy extraction center. We got the antenna on top of all them buildings. Energy extraction matrix. We just moved down here in this 3D reality, man. It's crazy to think like that. I ain't gonna say it's crazy to think like that, but once you figure that out, like, man, damn, we ain't nothing but food down this motherfucker in this matrix, man. It's
all about the energy harvest, bro. It's all about the fucking loose harvesting, taking our power from what, because we got more power in our heart than the sun.
Right.
That's just a fact.
And I was wanting to mention, if you have, everybody has melanin in it, but if you have neuromelanin is condensed sunlight.
That's why they're blocking out the sun.
Somebody said there's no such thing as white and black. We're all shades of brown, whether it's light brown or dark brown.
Right. That's just the label they like putting on people.
Right. Yeah, that's true. But we have different because this is what they say. They say we're all one human race, but we have different genetics.
Human means monster.
Right. I have different genetics. I have different genetics from a Spaniard or from an Asiatic. I don't like using these titles, but I'm just saying I gotta say this to get my point across. That that's one lie that they did tell us, saying we all the same, one human race. No, that's not the truth. Because I have different genetics.
I've definitely been augmented. That's for sure.
Because if you put me next to an Asian guy, you're gonna see the physical.
Like he's Asiatic.
Like my bones are bigger than our bones. Me as an Indian, my bones is bigger than theirs. I'm built different.
Right.
So we're not the same, you know.
Yeah.
My hair is different. My hair grows towards the sun.
That's what I wanted to speak to you about. Your lineage in Mississippi and stuff, man. That's huge. I think people need to hear it, the truth. Not that whole out of Africa theory. I'm not saying all so-called black people were from this land. Some did come from other lands, but for the most part, I think 90% were already here. You got the Shinnecock. I started to figure this out with Old Dirty Bastard. I said this last time. Because his great-great-grandfather was the chief of the Shinnecock tribe in Lower Manhattan.
Right.
And I used to listen to ODB and be like, Indian? Because he went on Howard Stern and said he was Indian, and I'm like, what?
Right, yeah, that's
it's very believable.
The original Indian is the original free man. We the original man and woman.
Indigenous to the land.
Right, we were the first ones that ever existed here on this planet, let alone this continent. We were here first, and that's scientifically proven that we were here first.
But,
you know.
But here's the thing, though, bro. We've all been here many times. In fact, probably thousands.
Right, I agree with that. We built all the pyramids too, you know. We built the pyramids. There's more pyramids here on the American continent than anywhere else in the world. There's more pyramids here than in Africa. because this is ancient Egypt that this American landmass. But like far as my Mississippi heritage, me just going down there, staying with my grandmother and my grandfather, man, just those roots, man, run deep. That red clay dirt.
I'm gonna show you the German flag, and I'm gonna show you the native or the tribes. Even the Cherokee and tribes use the same colors as the German flag. The black, yellow, red, and white. You know, people give German people shit, but I think it's for a reason.
Well, I'll try. It works fine, man. All you gotta do is, man, I'll show you.
It's like, I forgot what the four colors stand for. I'm gonna pull it up. Because, you know, I'm not defending Mr. Shitler, but if the whole world had to form together to go against him, you know, and they always love making the good guy look bad. And I'm not saying he's a good guy. I'm just saying that, you know,
I agree with you, Warrior. They do demonize the good guys because in the movie The Batman, the Joker was the good guy, and the Batman was the bad guy in all actuality. Because what was the Batman trying to do? He had no superpowers. He was always trying to free everybody. Every time they put the Batman emblem in the sky, he was coming to save the Matrix. He was coming to save the system. He wasn't coming to save necessarily people. He was trying to save the system. He was a billionaire too. He lived underground just like Elon Musk. The Bruce Wayne character is the personification of fucking Elon Musk and Donald Trump. He was a billionaire guy. He had no superpowers, and he was always trying to save the Matrix. The Joker was trying to free people from the Matrix. See what I'm saying?
Yeah. Let me see how this is gonna work. So I'll never forget when this so-called black guy told me that he was Cherokee, and I was ignorant, and I said, "You're black, you're not Indian." And he fucking went off on me. I think I was like 11, 12 years old. I'll never forget that guy, man. And he was right, and I feel like a jackass for thinking I fucking know it all.
Right, those are fighting words. I was at the hospital with my wife one time, man, and one of the nurses called me African American. I had to like school her kinda. I had to tell her. I said, you got a phone in your hand. I said, look up the etymology for black. I said, I'm not black. I'm not African American. I said, I don't go by those titles. And she was kind of like astonished. Yeah. Like, I'm like, no, I don't. You don't call me something that I'm not. Them fighting words.
That's why I learned a valuable lesson that day. To shut my mouth. And don't try to tell people what they are, because just because what the school teaches you, 90% of the time they're wrong. How do they know what people are? Who are they to tell people what they are when you got your parents and your grandparents? They're the only ones that could tell you who you truly are.
Right, my grandmother told me we was Indians, that we the real Indians. My grandma was like lighter skinned. She had red skin. They call me, my dad used to call me Red Boy back in the day. We talking about that the other day. What they call Indians? Redskins.
Yep. Yeah, I'm pissed they changed the name into Cleveland Indians too, man. That was cheesy, man. Even the Indian people said they were mad. They're trying to erase who they are. And they made the excuse that they changed it because of racism. Get the fuck out of here.
They need to watch the Redskins too, man.
Yeah. The Cleveland Indians, and now they're the Cleveland Guardians, which is crap. I don't even call them that. And then the Washington Redskins are now the Washington Commanders. Like, that was cheesy.
I'm from Indiana, man. And what, are they going to change the name of the state now?
I live in Indiana too, man. I live in southern Indiana.
I'm in Nap.
You in Indianapolis?
Yeah.
I was just up there a few weeks ago. Last month I was up there. My daughter had surgery up there. I live like in southern Indiana. I live by Louisville, Kentucky.
Yeah, I'm on the south side of India, right by Garfield Park, man. Matter of fact, I live right across the street.
Yeah, man, and then that was got a lot of potholes, man. I fucked my tire up coming up there.
And I did a lot of asphalt work. Matter of fact, I'm a maintenance man at about 900 properties, and I had to do a lot of asphalt. I think it was last week I did it. I just happened to have the experience, you know, because I used to do it for a living. So, yeah.
Right, I feel that.
Taking me a break.
All right.
Taking a break already. I'm already burned.
Give me 1 second. I'll let you up. I'm loading these pictures.
Hey, girl. How you doing?
Yeah, man. I think that's awesome. Axis in the house.
Axis Rap Blood. What's up, brother?
Hey, how's it going, guys?
It's going. How you been, man?
We're in motion.
Here, hey, it's getting deep now, bro. Have you met Axis before? I've talked to the Indian gentleman, Native man.
Oh, what's up? No, I never met Axis before. Nice meeting you, bro.
It's my guy Axis, man. He's knowledgeable. I'm sure he's got something to add.
I'm just observing, listening. If I got something to contribute, yeah, absolutely. If you got questions, I have this week a little extra time and leniency to join a few panels, and Charles has wanted me to join a.
Yeah, what day would you want to do that, Axis? I tried to email you, but I can't find the fucking email.
Well, I told him I would join this week because I had extra time. So anytime that I can contribute to further down time.
How many watts is it, dude? Huh? What's the wattage?
You did.
Yeah.
Hold on. You busy tomorrow, Axis?
Well, I'll always be doing research and work, but I'm going to try and cut time for you this week as much as possible, just because I know, you know, you've always been dedicated to my perseverance, and I definitely want to show some support to your channel and your endeavors.
Yeah, if you're not busy tomorrow morning, I would love to do the one-on-one and talk about, you know, a lot of your research and your work.
Yeah, that'd be fine.
That'd be awesome.
Great. Yeah, I've got no problem with that. No problem at all. But yeah, I'm listening to what you guys have got going on here, man, and kind of getting into feel and into the groove of it, and we'll see where it goes.
Yeah, I'm intrigued by Truth Zone and his lineage in Mississippi and his deep roots. That, to be honest, at least in Connecticut in the schools, they didn't really teach about the Black Indian tribes. They always teach the out of Africa theory and African American label and all that stuff. I took African American history, and truthfully, they never spoke about the Black Indian tribes, the Cherokee, and there's so many of them. And I've asked people to come up and speak on it. And I haven't really.
And when they call us African American, that's a misnomer, because they had, like I said it on the last panel, I think, that they had to reclassify us. You know, they started at first we were Negroes. Then you got to think African American wasn't brought to fruition until 1988 by Jesse Jackson and the NAACP. They created that word, that terminology. Start calling us that in 1988. Before that, we were just called black. Black means the etymology of black is pale.
I wanted to ask you, do you think, because my whole look from the outside looking in, you know, I always know it is infiltration. That's how they get to everything they want, whoever the people are. But, you know, I think there's people high up that are in the so-called black, you know, lodges and stuff that teach the out of Africa theory, and they swear by it. And do you think they purposely misled the people so they could get more for themselves? Because they know if people find out that they're Indian and they start claiming land and stuff and start claiming their heritage, it's going to be less for the people at the top, 'cause, you know.
They lose
Right,
their
they-
American citizenship the minute
Right.
that you sign for your heritage. Because when I got my federal numbers, I had reservation rights, which would have lost my Social Security and my American citizenship. So I chose to keep federal numbers as a recognized member of the nation, and continued to, as an American citizen, be able to keep my Social Security and my federal benefits.
Right, I see what you're saying. And they did it. You said the higher ups, like the so-called black people, they did it through Pan-Africanism. Pan-Africanism meaning they use agents, government agents, to sell us this African American shit. Same thing with the Black Panther Party. That was part of the Pan-Africanism movement, part of Operation COINTELPRO. Because if you're saying that you black and proud, you saying black means spiritually dead. So if you're saying that you black, you telling the system, you telling them that you're dead, that you don't exist. So this is why it's a bad thing to call yourself black or African American. It makes you an artificial humanoid. This is why if you're saying you're an American Indian, that means you have nationality, you're natural, you're organic to the land.
Right, you're indigenous.
If you're saying you're black African American, you're putting yourself a part of the de facto government, the corporation.
Because the Shinnecock,
right? This is why
I don't know
I identify as American Indian.
The Shinnecock in New York, they have the 5% Nation of Islam lodges and stuff, and a lot of people in the city subscribe to the 5% Nation. And from what I have read, they teach that I could be mistaken, that they're half African and half Indian, but in my opinion, I think they're full-blooded Shinnecock. Could be wrong,
right?
But I think there's something fishy about it, man. That they're keeping information.
Right. Y'all remember that movie Roots? Shout out to my boy. It's free to pay attention. Y'all go subscribe to his channel. Y'all remember that movie Roots with Kunta Kinte in it?
Yeah.
Y'all already know root means to put a spell on someone. So they put a spell on us with that movie with Roots, because they put a root on us, saying that they selling us as African American shit, saying that we came off of slave ships. They put a root on us. The Kinte's already been here. Kunta Kinte, they call it. It's a breed of people called the Kinte's. They migrated here thousands of years ago, and they came over here and started intermingling with us. So they already had been here. The movie The Roots is one big fallacy. It's bullshit. Because we didn't come off
I
no
used to
shit.
watch that
They came up
with my friends. A lot of my friends were so-called black people, and when they would watch that, they would all be looking at me. I'd be like, "Yo, bro, I got nothing to do with that."
No, we didn't. No.
Go ahead.
No, we ain't come off no boats, man. We were already here, man. We ain't come off those. They were the ones. They was fleeing persecution from out of Europe. They was the one fleeing from over here. They was undesirables. George Washington, the founding fathers, all of them. They really, because they found this place. They didn't know that they found. They found this founding fathers.
That's probably what I think the Civil War was about, man. The native tribes versus some of the British and whatever. That's what I think. That they're fighting for their land.
It was it made it a bad thing, but the Confederate flag doesn't mean racism.
My people came on the European slave ships over here. They were promised a lot of stuff, and when they got here, they got none of it, from what I know. And
my grandmother, same way.
This in German ain't even an original name. I was trying to look my ancestors up, and then I found out from people in Europe that it wasn't even the original name. Isn't Germany? It's Deutschland.
Deutschland.
Well, they keep changing. The contract changing.
Yeah. Deutschland.
Because I've noticed a lot of European flags have the red, white, and blue, except Germany.
Right? They don't know where they from, man.
And they always had the swastika. And if you look at African countries, I pulled it up the other day. I don't know if I still have them. There's so many other countries, because there's pictures of the man with the mustache, and
Yeah.
African people, and Hitler was shaking hands, and they had the swastika on their sleeve, and they always talk about he was racist and this and that.
Well,
I haven't seen full proof of that.
Hugo Boss made their uniforms.
Hold on. Oh, Truth Zone got knocked out. Hold on. Come on, signal. Connect. There we go. And I know I have ancestors in Germany and Poland because my grandfather told me. Because I asked him, I said, did our whole family come here? And he says, no. There's still some over there. Because I used to be jealous of the Polish kids in school. Would go home to Poland, and I'd be like, how come we don't go to Germany? Even though we're poor as dirt.
My grandmother, she came here too, man, from Ellis Island, from Wales, and she was 7 years old. She came with her uncle, and she had a family here. You know, my mother and her siblings had you know, there was 14 of them, same parent. My mom was a twin, and it's kind of wild, man, because she had so many children, and I had so many uncles and shit growing up, and now they're all gone. You know what I mean? And it's just wild, man. How you kind of wonder how people that only have 3 or 4 siblings, or maybe even just 2, how that lineage moves on, and it just I don't see how it survives.
They're hating on Truth Zone, man. They booting them out. They like, we can't let that information get out there, man. These are all the flags I found that have the same colors as Germany, because I always wondered why Germany has such different colors than all the other nations and countries. And I was like, they can't be the only one, and these are the other ones. But it was, what's that country in Africa? Let me look for it. It's not Ghana. What is it called? Oh, shit. Uganda. Sorry, Uganda. And I think that's what Hitler was with them, Uganda. There's even German. If I was looking up, there was German. In Africa, there was countries that German people were long time ago, and I was shocked to see that. I'm just glad Germany don't have red, white, and blue in their flag, even though they were overtaken. And they say Germany.
They weren't overtaken.
They wanted the technology.
They weren't overtaken, buddy. They're here. Always been here.
They won World War II.
Yeah.
Yeah, I definitely agree with that. They whooped the U.S. ass. The U.S. hasn't won any of the wars, in my opinion. They lost in Vietnam.
It was all a game. It's just a game.
Yeah, it was what it was whenever they decided that Germany had become a stable power and a growing one, there was mutual communications behind the scenes to disband the technology of Germany, and it became a war between Russia and the United States to gather that information. That's why we brought all their technology, scientists, and engineering over here. And you can't incorporate a society without becoming that society.
I gotta go, but I'm gonna come back after I get done making a bunch of noise.
All right.
Much love, everybody.
Peace to In the Groove, Orphan Annie, and who else came in? Crystal. That's about it. Just making sure I didn't miss anyone. Yeah, I was reading about the ego this morning. I like this book called Ego and Archetype. A lot of stuff you and Dom talk about, Axis, about the ego and.
Well, Charles, I had some recent revelations that were pretty profound. And the more that I tested them as being factual, the more they've proven themselves to be not only factual, but our particular state of being. And it makes you, well, it doesn't make you, it brings you to a higher understanding of the role that you play and the perpetuation of your being, yourself, your entity.
I'm gonna see if I could find some of these pictures. I wonder if a lot of the architecture, you know, I'm starting to think some of these in native tribes that were here, they had 12 to 14 foot tall giants, just like the Patagonian tribe and many others, and they're the ones who built a lot of that architecture, that supreme, beautiful architecture that they keep destroying in these wars, like World War II. Germany was bombarded. I had a map that showed every single city and town in Germany was leveled. All that, if you look at the old world Germany in the 1890s, beautiful. Oh my God. Just
Right.
like
Hey,
Ukraine.
you right, Warrior. You right, Charles, man. The old they say New Mexico, New York City, because all this is new to them. This is what they mean by the New World Order. But it's really the old world. America's the old world. And we did used to be tall as the trees, because our ancient trees are way taller than the trees we have now. We were 20 feet tall at first. You gotta think we got shrunken down. Over time we kept falling in vibrations and frequencies, and we got shorter and shorter. But they cut down our ancient trees. Our ancient trees were tall as the sky at one point in time, because we were connected to the cosmos. You gotta think we've been spiritually cut off ever since we've been spiritually cut off ever since they put the fermented dome over top of this realm. You know,
So
this is how they're able to keep us recycled, keep coming back down here like this in a perpetual state of reincarnation, because of the fermented dome too. Our spirits and souls can't leave the ferment, can't leave this realm. So we keep coming back down here because we've been spiritually cut off. But yeah, our ancient trees were tall as hell at first. They were tall as the sky. They were tall as the sky. It shows that in the movie Avatar. When they invaded those beings in the movie Avatar, what they do? They cut down all their trees.
Yeah, I love that movie. It pissed me off.
The movie Avatar is a personification. They showing you what they did to us when they came here and invaded us.
What were you gonna say, Axis?
I was just going to ask him if he ascribes to the biblical and the Enochian and the Maccabean books that describe the fallen angels in pre-dawn history, all the way up to pre-cataclysmic history.
What if we're the fallen angels?
Well,
right, you can say that we're fallen angels because we come from the angelic realms. We come from the higher realms, and we fell here into the third density. So you can say that we're fallen angels too, hypothetically, right?
Do you know why?
Because we fell from higher realms. We fell from higher frequencies, higher vibrations down here into the lowest realm in the cosmos. This is the lowest realm you can be in. This is the hell realm, because everything vibrates so low here, and the frequencies are so slow down here. We basically moving so slow here, right?
Okay. Once again, can you describe the mechanics of it? Do you understand it? Do you know where you're at?
I don't understand nothing. I don't stand underneath nothing. I overstand and understand. I don't understand anything because I don't stand underneath anything.
Okay, you can.
And I'm not saying that with all respect, bro.
All you want. There's a common man's tongue, and then there is a wordsmithing tongue. If I choose to wordsmith, you're not going to understand a word I say. But if I speak to you in a common man's tongue, the layman may understand what I'm saying to you.
Okay, repeat your question one more time. You said, do I subscribe to who? To what? I might have heard you wrong.
do you ascribe to the accepted and the non-accepted scriptures, letters, and information that derive from the Christian story of creation, the fallen angels, the Nephilim, the cataclysm, and so on?
From the Gnostics' teachings from the Bible, you said, do I believe in that?
That's what I'm asking.
Yes, because the Gnostics, somewhat I do, because they put the truth in the Bible. The book of Genesis, we were already here before the book of Genesis. The book of Genesis is a starting point when they came here and invaded. So yes, they put the truth in some of these books. They put the truth in plain sight because they have to.
Do you
So
know?
you can take something from reading the Bible. You just got to have the discernment to break it down, to be able to break that down and dissect the information that's been put forth. Right.
I was asking you.
I just answered your question, bro. Yeah, I believe in it. As far as like a deity in that Bible, I know who the God of the Bible is too. As far as me like worshiping any deities, no, I don't know that. I don't do none of that. I don't worship nothing outside of myself.
Okay. I was just curious as to what your take on that was, because you were using references to
Right. I was just using references, bro.
So I wanted to get where your mind was on your intake and understanding of how this pre-cataclysmic and documented records and histories that were given applied to you.
Right, I get what you're saying, man. Yeah, I know what you're saying. Yeah, I was just making reference to the Gnostics text, to the Bible, because you can take some truth out of that Bible, but as far as like any other stuff, nah. Because they have to give us the truth in some type of form or fashion.
They who? Who are they?
The overlords, the overlords of the simulation of this matrix. The ones that hijacked this place, that hijacked us and hijacked our psyche. They came here and took over.
What if I
because we, you, I think we
enlighten your perception of things just a little bit?
Right, go ahead.
Willing to accept and listen?
Yeah, I'm gonna, bro.
Okay. Before you were born, you had a pre-birth life. Then when you were born, you had the waking life. And when you dream, you have your ethereal or dream state of life. When you die, you have afterlife. Now, in each of these states, when you're brought into them, are you not brought into them empty-handed, alone, naked?
You say you say you brought in what? Say it one more time. I can barely hear you.
Empty-handed, alone, and naked.
Someone when you come into the matrix, yeah, you empty-handed and naked. You come in with nothing, right?
Well, you do that even in death. Whenever you die, you take nothing with you. You leave. You're empty-handed. You're naked.
Yeah.
Pre-birth, you're empty-handed. You're naked. In the dream state, you only have clothes for residual imagery. But even that is a new perspective of a possibility that manifests itself each time you close your eyes or go to sleep. Unless you're having a continuous dream or a residual dream. So that goes to say that nothing, absolutely nothing that you do here or have done before you were born or will do in your sleep or after you die will have anything physically tangible attached to it. Are you aware of that?
Right. I get what you're saying. Yeah.
Okay, so we're not in a permanent realm. We're in a state.
Right. Yeah, this realm is temporary. This realm is temporary. And And when people say death and die, death is an illusion. I don't believe in death. It's just a transition of power because we're energy beings, right? So you just transition into a different form. Like,
Right.
and you talk about a dream state being asleep. When I so-called dream at night and I go to other planes of existence, I felt myself in a liquid form one time. It's different forms of you got your gematria body, you got your physical body, you got your ethereal body, you got your light body. So I felt myself in different type of forms throughout the cosmos. Like I said, I felt myself in a liquid form one time because there's different elements to the universe, right? And like you said, it's infinity. We're infinity beings. Our consciousness is infinity. We don't die. So it's just transfer of energy.
Are people having a hard time? Are you, is my mic too? Can you hear? Is it? Let me know in the chat if you can hear what I'm saying or if I'm coming through. It says audio level is horrendous.
Charles pulled up the aura field or your aura.
Yeah, we hear you, Axis. You sound clear.
Okay, I wasn't sure.
Yeah, but I get what you're saying though, Axis, man.
Well, the idea of this being a hell realm is by all indications of written literature throughout time immemorial since the exiling from the garden, everything of iniquity has been banished to earth. The fallen angels was thrown to the depths of the earth. Satan was cast to earth. The Nephilim are punished to wander the spiritual realms of earth. Cain was set out as a punishment into earth, as well as Adam and Eve. Are you starting to catch on?
Say it one more time. You said the Adam and Eve. Say it one more time.
They were exiled from the garden and sent out amongst the lands of the earth. Everything that has been in exile has been sent to earth.
Yeah, they were exiled out of the Garden of Eden.
Everything. Right. The fallen, the Nephilim, they're forced to rule or to be here as disembodied entities. Satan was cast here. The fallen were chained here. Everything that has put itself up against the divine has been cast to earth to be contained, confined, and imprisoned. Now ask yourself, what is it that humans did? Or what is it that we are, that we find ourselves amongst the damned and the exiled?
Right, the human race, when they talk about the war that took place in heaven, they're talking about the war that took place between higher beings, higher dimensional beings. They fell down here to the earthly realm. And the human race, I don't consider myself a human being because the human race was created by the Anunnaki as a servant class race to do different things. So I don't consider myself a human being. I'm a non-ether being.
So you think that your creators then left you in a realm that is basically inhabited by all the damned of the divine, that which has been cast aside and discarded?
Some of us chose to be here. This is a free will universe. You can choose to come here. The dark side of the moon, that's where you go incarnate at. And the story, and you mentioned the story of Adam and Eve. I mean, I'm not trying to persuade anybody's way of thinking or ideologies, but the story of Adam and Eve was the beginning of the eugenics program of human splicing of clones. That was the beginning of the eugenics, of them grafting different beings into existence. That's really what the story of Adam and Eve is. It wasn't them inside of no garden and none. That's all nonsense.
I find it to be much more metaphoric. Right.
It's more metaphorical. When people read the Bible, most people read that Bible, they reading it from a cartoonish standpoint. They're not reading it from, because you got to look at it, you got to take it from a metaphysical aspect when you're reading the Bible. The Gnostics teaching, however you want to take it, you read it from a metaphysical standpoint.
Well, I find that unless I was there or I witnessed it or the equations add up, I can't really claim to be true or lie. But I can tell you that through observation and through inner and outer workings beyond the physical, that there is a less than desirable nature to this place. Seems like almost a holdover, a place of exile. I don't hear of heavenly spirits of good divine intent throughout the universe or consciousness being exiled here for their better behavior.
Because I always question,
Right.
if this God was all loving and really cared about us, why the hell did he dump his trash onto the earth? But I look at these stories like you guys are saying as not as literal but more in code. Just like they say Satan is the king of the material realm. And now I get it when I learned, like I said earlier, that lower light materializes. So it all makes sense. That we
Right. We
came
under
from the spiritual realm down to the lower hell, which we materialized into these vehicles. We can't, in order to what am I the words I'm looking for? In order to experience this realm, we had to get into the flesh vehicle and move around.
right. We under
You know,
we under a light cold lunar lockdown here down here in the Saturn moon matrix. So we only can see 10% of the Fibonacci light cold spectrum here. We're in a light cold lockdown here. And yeah, you're right about the god of this realm is Satan. The god of the Saturn moon matrix. This is the material plane. It's about keeping you stuck down here under this light cold lockdown inside of this material Saturn moon matrix. This is how they're keeping the illusion going. This is one big illusion. We inside of a dream here. We dreaming here. We inside of a dream state. It's like in that movie Matrix. When Neo went into the Matrix, they had to plug him in. You plugging your conscious into this game, to this video game. Your soul is plugged into this video game here. Your soul somewhere else, playing asleep, laying in dormant, or you down here in the physical playing a game. So that's why they call it the game of life.
peace, London man. Or shall I say, King London's version. I think so much has been kept from us. I always think if the knowledge was handed down through generations, the truth, how much more advanced we would be. But maybe, us learning from a baby, having the experience and going through everything is a reason for it instead of us just knowing a lot of things like that.
Yeah, you gotta know the rulers of the simulation. I don't even want to call them rulers. The ones that made this matrix, they modified us. They made it to where we only can use 10 to 15% of our brain capacity. At one point in time, we were really holy. Holy means using your whole brain. So at one point in time, we could use 100% brain capacity. Millions of years ago, thousands of years ago, we could, but they made it to where we only can use so much of our brain capacity now. This is why they came out with that movie Dumb and Dumber, because every life you come down, you getting dumb and dumber. Every life, they want to make it to where, you know what I'm saying?
How about the giants? Like their brain capacity, and they were taller and bigger brains. Imagine reading one of their books. Like they have to have some of these giants' books locked away. And I think a lot of the genetic, I think we could be in some sort of a genetic experiment. Like when they say they took the rib and created a woman, maybe they took the genetics and these giants are probably already, if we got labs and we're messing with genetics and using microscopes, why wouldn't they have? Or even our ancestors.
You remember that movie, Honey, I Shrunk the Kids? They showing you in that movie that they used some type of high advanced weapon to shrink us down. Because we were giants at one point in time. That's why the trees were taller back then. Our ancient trees were tall as shit. That's why if you look at all those mountains of chopped down trees. So they showing you that movie, Honey, I Shrunk the Kids, how they use some type of weapon to shrink us down. Because we were tall at first. We were 20 feet tall at first, taller than that.
Groove has a point. He said, if you're a God, then write your own Bible. Right. Write your own 10 Commandments for yourself. You know, I know we're creators in a different way. I'm not saying we're the source. We are an extension of the source. But we are gods and controllers of our own destiny in this realm. That's how I see it, in the flesh, in the spirit.
I said this on the last panel, bro, that God is the equation. God is the highest extension of the mind that uses elements and matter to express itself. So we use elements and matter to express ourselves every day. We creative beings at our natural base. In our natural form, we creative beings. But that's why they want you, they take that creative being from you and they put you at a job all day, at a 9-to-5 job or at a cubicle, because now you become a creator for somebody else's business, for somebody else's corporation. They want to, it's like we was talking about that the other day. They want to kill your inner child. Your inner child is a creative being. Because what do you do as a kid? You want to create things. You're running around. You're playing with toys. You're using your imagination. You want to be creative. See what I'm saying?
Look in schools. Schools have become more prison-like, where everyone now, at least in Connecticut, a lot of the schools you got to wear all tan pants and a blue shirt, depending on what all the same clothes. The creativity of you wearing and creating your own style is gone. They've ripped that from the children, and even, in my opinion, the educational realm is more about remembering and regurgitating. There's really no creativity involved.
Right. They want you to be a conformist. The school teaches you, is programming you to have a hive mentality. That's what I was saying earlier in your live on the panel earlier. They want majority of the masses are just the walking dead, right? The walking, talking dead. They're dead. They have a hive mentality. They all think the same. They all do the same things, right? So that's what they teach you in school. Be hive-minded.
You gotta bring that smoke for the hive minds. You know how bees, when smoke comes around bees, the hives will evacuate.
Yeah, man. It goes deep, man. It's so much to talk about with this stuff, man. Like, I've been making videos for years, bro, and I like sometimes I feel like, man, it's nothing left for me to even say, because I feel like I done touched on everything, but we keep growing with each other, and I appreciate you letting me on your panel, bro.
No, anytime, man. I appreciate you coming up and sharing. Like, I like being a student. It more or less, I'm more comfortable being a student and listening and taking in more than being a teacher. Because I honestly don't know shit. Every day I'm learning more and more, seeing things from other angles. I've come to the realization that knowledge is infinite. And in our little fart in the lifespan, our little that we're here, we couldn't learn everything. It's too short.
No, there's no way in possible. There's no way in hell we could. No, I said no way in hell. We already in hell. But yeah, that's what they want us. This is why they started the rusting process. You come in here as a baby, once a man, twice a child. Because once you come into your years of being an old man or an old woman, you 80 years old, you become dependent again as a baby. And it's like that by design. And you got to think the architects of this simulation or this matrix designed it that way, to where we come back in here and be once a man, twice a child. That way you forget things, because towards the back end of your life, you catch amnesia. You catch dementia. You start forgetting things. And they want it like that. Because when you come in here as a child, you forget who you are. And then once you leave out of here as an old person, if you don't catch them, you get dementia, you forget again, right?
Shit. Dementia. What's that other thing you get when you get older? It's dementia, fucking Alzheimer's. I've come to learn that a lot of them symptoms are like aluminum, a lot of heavy metals that you could either drink or inhaling attack the mind. And because I always wondered when I was younger how when you get older you start forgetting things, or people be shaken. You ever see an old person that has what is it called? I don't know what it's called, but they're always shaking.
It's
That's
called Bell's
terrible.
palsy.
Huh?
Bell's palsy, right?
Yeah, I think so.
Parkinson's.
Cerebral
Parkinson's,
palsy. Parkinson's, yeah.
And if you want to achieve that mindless state, I suggest head trauma. It's a lot quicker. You'll forget everything quickly. And you'll get the shakes with it.
Just think about it, man. We come down here, we come into the matrix, man, into this simulation to work, sleep, and eat. Work, sleep, eat. Your life is inside of a loop. We stuck inside of a loop. Inside of this metaverse loop, doing the same thing over and over again every day.
We got caught up in the systems loop, and now, by choice too, at that. You know, I point the finger at the government, but it's easy as just going in the woods and surviving on your own. You're out of the system until the system more or less could come find you, if that ever happens. But I look at it as, yeah, the system's terrible and it got us fucked up, but as a unit, we just go along with it. So it's kind of our fault, you know, that we allowed this shit to go down and we just go along with it. So it's all by choice.
Right.
You know,
Right.
I used to think I could get groups of people to come together and make a change, but in all reality, it always starts with self. And I figure come to a point where I might go rogue and just go try to live in the woods, get away from this, at least for a month or two, and try it out.
Yeah, get off the grid. Yeah, get off the grid. The grid is going down anyway, man. The power, like the grid, all that shit. Like I said, the matrix is over, man. The grid, they're gonna shut down the whole grid system, man. It's gonna be a what's it called? Not a CME. CME is a cosmic.
EMP.
It's gonna be an electromagnetic pulse. It's gonna be facilitated by them, the government. They're gonna shut the grid off, man. It's gonna be like
that's
some.
That's why we got to build generators and learning the energy and how to not create it, but tap into it, like create generators and shit. That's a must. You could even, I seen a guy use a car, I think it was a 1989 something. He fucking took battery chargers, you know, the thing you clip onto your battery. I think he cut them and he hooked up like an extension cord and shit. And he was powering his whole house with his fucking car. I think it was an alternator. He said something, but it has to be an older car. The newer cars can't do it. I gotta find that video. Right, it was during Texas. Remember when? Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt, but you remember Texas when they just lost their power a little while ago, a few years ago? When I think it was snowing. That's when the guy learned. He used that setup.
Yeah, I'm about to get me a generator too. But he said he built his own generator. So I'm saying he's being a creative being. That's what they don't want us doing. They don't want us creating our own things and putting patents on anything unless they got their hands in it, you know.
I've seen a guy came on Bro Sanchez and he reverse engineered the solar powers and learned how to make it infinite, where it's constantly charging. But anyway, that's something that I seen that was dope. And the guy didn't create a generator. He turned his car into a generator, basically, because he took the charging cables, he hooked them to the battery. I think it was the alternator. I forgot how he did it, man. But he rigged it up and it powered his house from his car.
You can get organic energy, like the way they build these houses. But you got to think that's why they built the pyramids, because the pyramids were getting organic energy from the cosmos. But the way they build these houses, all these houses are built like boxes. You can't get organic energy that way. You got to hook yourself up to the fucking grid. They made it that way by design. They don't want us to get Oregon or organic energy from the cosmos, because we built our houses like as in a pyramid. We can get free energy. They don't want that. They want us hooked up to the beach. That's why they build these houses all like in box shapes. Because that you can't get energy into the house that way unless you hook it up to a wire, right?
Shit. Man, there's a lot of wild shit. Who remembers before houses had those stupid meters on them? I remember the times when houses didn't have them dumb meters on them. I remember when they started putting them in. I remember when all houses had copper piping. And I remember in 88 or 89, they started taking all the copper pipes out and putting toxic plastic. Because in the winter time,
yeah, you right.
I think it was the winter time, they said they won't burst or something. But
Yeah, houses used to yeah, you're right. Houses used to have copper pipes in them. They used to have pyramid type structure on them. All that, they got rid of all that. The way we can be more dependent on them. That way, if when they do crash, shut down the grid, you got to ask them for help. You know, they don't want us being like living on a homestead type of makeup, like of land, or just being outside off the grid.
peace, Dom. Hey, I was listening to the Red Sox, and the first baseman, Dom Smith, hit a home run, and the announcer was like, something about, he said, and Dom hits one deep and out of the park. I was gonna take that, record that part, and every time you drop a bomb or a gem, I was gonna hit the button, boop, and I'll say, Dom hits another one out the park. Anyway. Haha, that was funny.
I was gonna ask you one more question before I go, Charles. What do you feel? What do you think about them? Like they've been living underground, but what do you feel about? They said these so-called billionaires building underground bunkers and shit. They putting copper pipes inside of their plumbing, inside of these underground facilities.
I think copper pipes used to charge the water, if I'm not mistaken. There's something about copper, but these underground bases, I think they're growing underground fruits and vegetables for them that they don't have, like pesticides and all that other shit they allegedly put in there. You know, think about the scientists they have. I always thought, by now, you mean to tell me they couldn't like master gardening and figure out a way to grow fruit and vegetables that are just super good for you? And with knowledge like that, the way they've dumbed us down to grow our own food, and through generations, people stop really having gardens, because they rather go to Stop and Shop.
Right, makes us more dependent on the system.
I remember when every grandma had a garden, and they mastered botany and their garden and stuff. But
right, my grandmother in Mississippi had a garden. She grew on okra, she grew cucumbers, picked all that stuff, tomatoes, everything we ate was from out her garden. It was good eating, man. She really didn't go to the supermarket like that. She grew her own food.
yeah, I think they have underground bases, underground cities. As far as aliens, I really don't subscribe to that, but there could be people from other lands. I think they're hiding land and everything, but can I prove it? Yeah, if I had a boat.
You said extraterrestrials?
Yeah, from
extraterrestrial means it's extraterranean. It's extraterranean.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah, I believe in that, man. Well, you had mentioned copper. I'm gonna say one more thing before I go. You mentioned copper, right? Those copper pipes. What do they call my ancestors? What do they call me? I'm a copper colored Indian, so I have copper inside of my physiology, right? I already have that natural mineral inside of me. Copper.
Yeah, I think it's in the vegetables we eat. It comes from the ground. Those small doses are needed in the body.
Right, and what comes from carbon? The carbon is the building blocks of all life.
They used to have community gardens, orphan Annie here, but honestly, people just stopped. I remember one year there was a few. They had put a bunch of beds, and I guess you could rent them, of course. And if I'm not mistaken, I think you rent a bed or claim it. I don't know how it went, but either way, the community gardens, just people didn't take care of them. So that's how that goes. People rather go to Walmart and buy fucking lab grown fucking meat allegedly. I don't even know how we can prove this stuff. Me, like they say there's stuff in fruits and stuff. Me, I want to prove it. I want to actually find a way to show people that it's very true. Now anyone could say anything.
You are right, man. Yeah, all that shit's GMO. All this lab grown meat, lab grown tomatoes, everything is you get from Walmart or Mart Law. and Walmart means Mart Law. All that shit, man, is all GMO, man. Nothing is real. It's not holistic. That's why they don't want nobody on a holistic diet. They want to feed us all of these poisons and different type of things.
They're fucking duds, the fruits. They don't grow seeds. You know, they have seeds, but the seeds are duds, man. Nothing grows.
Yeah, they don't want us being holistic. You're supposed to be able to take a seed and put it inside of Mother Earth and watch it grow. Just like you take your seed and put it in a woman and you breathe forth life. So they don't want you doing it organically. They don't want us being organic anymore. They want us to have this artificial mindset. You go get a GMO from the convenience store because it's convenient for you because it's right around the corner. You instead of going out back side of your backyard and throwing a seed in the ground and growing your own. You know what I'm saying?
People say they buy seeds and it reproduces, so I guess it's where you get them. You don't want to buy the China seeds. I'm joking. I don't even know if China sells seeds here. I was just joking.
Right. Well, I'm gonna get up out of here, man. Thanks for having me on again, bro.
Yeah, you take it easy, man. I'm real.
Yeah, y'all be easy, man. Y'all take it easy, man. Good energy,
Have
man.
a great day, man. Thanks for coming
I'm out.
up.
I'm in the wind, man. Appreciate you.
Dom always be making me want to like go sit in silence. You know, speaking out loud does, I think, play a major role in especially if it's all negative stuff. I'm trying to not be negative. It plays a role in itself.
What was I just caught a portion of yesterday's stream. Was the dude on there being a kind of trollish, or does he truly think that he's being entity raped?
Oh, yeah, the one I took down. Yeah, that was bugged out, man. I don't even know that guy. I don't know where he came from, but he comes by. And that's what I was thinking. I didn't know what was up. So I just let him do what he did, you know? I just let him say what he wanted. And I don't think he was trolling. Why would... If he is, that's wild. But I think people who go to people's channels and troll, to me, like, you have nothing better to do in life than to go fuck with people.
Oh, it could be. I don't know. I didn't. I just wasn't receiving the guy very well. You know, I didn't know how much of it was a lark and how much of it people were actually taking to heart about it. This seemed a little out of the ordinary.
Yeah, this realm is interesting. People are interesting.
Well, it is a transition. That's for damn sure. I endeavored to bring four states of information into one cohesive state, and whenever I understood that each state is entered into from the beginning empty-handed, naked, with a unimpressioned mind, and only maybe the potentials of genetic recall developing into the personality, I had to take a whole new look at the transcendental state of being here, and the particular way that we were cut off from anything truly tangible in all four states. You know, you can't take a pocket full of coins in any of them, which tells me that we're a lot less real in any state than we would like to think ourselves to be. The minute you can come to rationalize that each time you go to sleep, you might as well be empty-handed and naked, you know, same as when you're born, and in, you know, the time of dying to your afterlife, you do not take anything with you but the cerebral and mentally learned and experiences. But as far as anything tangible, no. So for us to say that we're any type of solidified being that's going to make a difference in other realms, uh, I can understand why we would not be able to achieve that state. One, we may not be possible, and secondly, is if we in this state are incapable of sustaining ourselves as a species in a natural sense, what business do we have as a species or a spirit in a state where things are truly tangible and you do take that pocket full of money, which is a metaphor, to the next state of your being after you've left one state of being? The ramifications and the destructive potential by our nature alone means that we would be a plague and a disease against anything that would be considered tangibly real beyond the dream, the pre-birth, the life, and the afterlife. So I can understand more so now why we're incapable of fully being tangible. We're just stuck in the observation mode, kind of like Dom. And even if we do interact, that interaction is but a mere memory, and there's nothing physical about it that you're going to be able to truly possess or more or less take with you on your next journey into whatever realm that may be.
Reminds me of a video game.
Pretty
The
much.
observer interaction. Excuse me.
And a state it is. It has that tendency. You know, when you wake up in a dream and you find yourself dreaming, you're not living your life from the very beginning of that dream as an infant to that point in state that you've reached while you're dreaming that dream. You enter that dream with residual thoughts of an appearance, a state of being, and an environment already in place and set up. You just start interacting with it in the dream state. And I think a lot of that applies to this particular plane when it was actually constructed because of the constant. And we kind of come in, for some it would be midway through their experience of this, but we always come in infantile. And when we exit, we're empty-handed. So this is a passive state. And if it's a state of exile and you've lost the ability to interact with that which is truly transversal between all planes of existence, such as maybe a magic wand or, a pair of shoes, we're exactly where we should be as a species, contained and imprisoned.
Look at the controller of a video game. It has the 4 cardinal points, up, down, left, right, north, south, east, whatever. It's got the triangle, which could be man. It has the circle, the X, and the square. You got the womb, all the symbols or sigils used to conjure up shit is on the controller of a PlayStation. Or, you got your energies involved, it's wild shit. Video games. Even the scrying mirror. Opening these portals.
Well, there are conduits. There are definitely conduits, but I found that where I have endeavored to be and have endeavored to place my energies is very well, just very unwell received. It almost makes me question as to whether I should be speaking at all. I like it that the fact that people have solidified themselves into this existence to the point where their interactions seem to be so pronounced that they consider this some type of reality, when it's only a state of sensory stimulation. And even that, when you change state, so does your sensory stimulation. You find different things that will cause you to react outside of taste, touch, smell, feel, and you'll always have that, you'll always have that sense of intuitive state of self-awareness. But you will still find yourself with yourself in a different state, but always naked and alone. The dream seems to be the only one, or if you start journeying outside of certain levels of perception on this plane of existence, you can see things that have already, in progress or in motion. But your motion in this realm doesn't start until conception, and it will end itself in a physical form. But yet there are other states of not only receiving information and interacting, but none of them hold any type of tangibility that you can transverse other states with. You are truly mentally alone. So to argue the point of anything here is a temporary argument. It's like going to the mall and arguing the point of the mall and how the mall was created and how other people got there, when it's just a temporary state of like going to the mall. It will end. You will no longer be at the mall, and it will be unperplexing at that point in time, but you will have memories of it, and you will have learned experiences. But to try and understand the full spectrum of this place and to understand how you apply to it would be like understanding, one, you can't take anything out of the mall when you leave, and secondly is your position and place in that mall when you are not physically present there, and only your thought or your energy has been placed there momentarily.
The truth or reality is a hard pill to swallow, especially
Just take it for what it is, Charles. You know, I really have no business relaying this information to anyone. Just because most people aren't even going to be able to fathom the depth of the fact that they're not actually tangibly real. They may be in the waking state in this plane. They even may feel so in a dream, which is more relevant. And they can't identify themselves with pre-life or afterlife. So the significance of your realism and what you want to call reality is only defined by your interactions, which you can't take with you. You can't transvert states of being and other states of planes and take anything with you. That means that your significance is null and void to those states of being, unless you're interacting with them without the physical. And once you remove the physical and you start interacting with things totally in the mind, and you remove your attachment to everything that has to do with this place because it's irrelevant to the fact of
that's when
where
you
you're
find it
going.
in peace. When you let all this stuff go, that's when you find true, what's the word I'm looking for? What was that? Nirvana? I think I got that definition, that word right.
Yeah, but that's when people start falling away. It's a very lonely road. And the more that you comprehend and understand that this is all the living in this state of the waking state is not much different than being in a dream and a dream state. It all feels real, it all seems real, it all seems interactive, but in the end you wake up and you bring nothing out of the dream with you. It's the same with life. You take nothing with you. So this cannot, to me, be solidified as being tangibly real. My comprehension of something that's tangibly real supersedes and transverses all states of existence and all states of possibility. So we're working in a very limited space for a very short time, kind of like a visit to a mall. There's everything you could want at the mall, right? And all these fun things, and you get involved, whether it's a fight or a friend or a fuck. But you leave the mall. And you leave empty-handed.
Yeah, I've accepted a long time ago. You know, we're all going to leave this place one time or another.
Yeah, it's what you It's what you do here that is the least harmful to the perpetual structure of the original creation. My notion, the better off you are. But those are just my observations and my experiences, and I've learned that if I elaborate too much or any further, then I may lose any type of communication with anybody else. They will find themselves far removed from me. And it's very simple to understand. There was no complexity put to it. I would like to have some feedback, Charles.
I was just zoning out, thinking about everything you were saying.
Okay.
It made me think about thoughts of afterlife and shit. If there is something when we die, I'm not, I've explained before what I felt when I died, and it's more like a dream state. And when I came back here, like I said, all the feelings came back. I can't explain what I felt when I was gone, but I was aware, and it was more like a dream type.
Well, what were you before you were born?
Energy.
Are you sure?
No. I don't know what I was before I was born, truthfully.
Precisely. Now, with that same concept, whatever you were before you were born might just damn well be the state you return to after life.
What would you rather have? Would you rather leave here and there be nothing, or would you want to leave here and, have an option of coming back and doing this again?
If it happened that I came back and did this again, it wouldn't be the same personification of me. I'm only a compilation of learned experiences from the time I was born to this moment. That new entity that may recycle my energy would have all new set of learned experiences. So, the only thing that would be remotely connecting me and that potential other entity would be some type of beyond quantum entanglement between the fact that we share the same energy at one point in time. It's just now in a new state with new experiences. So I don't know that I'll be given that.
Because everything you said, makes a lot of sense, because people say, oh, if I die, I'm not coming back here. And I think when I hear people say that, but you wouldn't be you. When has a person ever been born? Well, I hear stories here and there of children being born and they remember their being someone else in another life. But for the most part, people are born and it's like brand new. You'd be a whole new form, a whole new vibration, a whole new version of the millions of versions of the source, all having their own experience. I gotta find that story I think it's about incarnation. It's a story from the East about you'll live a million versions. Like you'll keep reincarnating until you live all the versions the creator can live or something like that. So life will just forever be here. It'll never stop existing if that's the case.
Well, Charles, I'll give you a word of advice from where I stand. Deal with what you have at the moment, the here and now, and learn from that in the moment, the here and now, and leave the speculation and the written works and words of other people's ideals and concepts of what they haven't ever experienced to the blind, and let the blind lead the blind.
That's good advice.
Yeah, I've lost a considerable amount of. Now I recognize them as associates because of the things that I've been able to express and speak of.
What do you think about books? Do you think books are?
I think they can
Go
be
ahead.
filled with lies, manipulated, burnt, dry rotted, thrown away, changed. I think there are a number, an incredible amount of books that you can open up and choose any type of religion, belief, indoctrination, or ideal from, and it doesn't make any of it truthful. Only that which you have tested for yourself or seen the equation ring true will hold any significance. If you look at a book that identifies a venomous snake and it happens to be local to your area, that's probably a good book. Might teach you a little something on keeping yourself from being sick. But if it's how people stand in certain poses in foreign countries to honor their king, well, it really doesn't hold a lot of significance to me at this point in time.
I like reading some books. Like I like Manly P. Hall, but I've come to learn. Like I used to never read books, truthfully, and some books are good, but all books are seeing something through someone else's eyes.
Yeah, you can entertain yourself that way. It's when you start investing your energy into it to bring it as an influence into your world, you better hope that it holds some type of significance or relative truth to this plane of existence, because I'm going to say that outside of fiction, everything they have presented us as books of history and science and such forth have been skewed to reflect their agenda and to keep everyone within a confined and controlled state of mind. It's when you exceed that and you understand that those books were allowed to be published and released for a reason. Now, the books on direct course of action to allow you to interface with this reality and use its full potential will not be given to you. So the best that you can hope for is that you endeavor on that path or know someone that has to explain them to you, because they've got an agenda outside of yours. As much as you band people together, there's always going to be personal agendas. And as with the book, the same thing. And if they can control you with that book, then they're going to do it. And they have for many years. History, education, divine spirituality, understanding of the human psyche, the different versions of self that you experience in this, even this single plane. And I'm sure that if you were to dig deep enough within the archives of greater understanding, you would find that you're not as real as you think you are. You're an aspect. Do you realize that? You're an aspect.
What was that again? What? An aspect, you said?
Yeah.
Okay.
You're an aspect that took on learned experience, and that's all you can hope to be. You know, once you're born an aspect, a potential blank slate, and then all your life experiences add you up to the point where you're at. And I see that most people are just content. They don't like where they're at. So I did some examining into that. And I found out that most everything that's been exiled from divine places was sent here. So
I feel like a student here. I feel like a student of like
a student in exile.
Yeah, sort of like that. Yep.
Interesting. Well, I will say that this place offers every discontent your heart and mind can possibly fathom. And I will say that 80% of the people stay in a state of discontentment with this plane of existence when they have all the opportunity in the world to be naked and empty-handed and change the perspective that they're taking on everything. You're holding on to and clenching to learned experiences as a base of your persona and your personality. Well, what if those things are let go? Like we said, Alzheimer's, head trauma, you know.
It's like a cycle.
The energy of the aspect goes through cycles and various states of being. But here you're limited to just interacting and observing those experiences in a non-tangible way. What if there was a state of being here where when you pass on from this life, you take with you loads of ammunition and a gun, and you find yourself in another state elsewhere where they don't have ammunition and a gun? What does that make you then? That's why we're in a containment, because thus we can take that ammunition and a gun to a place where they don't have ammunition, guns, or they're peaceful. We then wield an incredible power, allowing the physics work with the gun. I am no king, and I will repeat, I am no one's role model. I am no one to look up to, and I don't expect anyone to follow my ways or my beliefs. They are mine. I'm just sharing. Whatever you choose to take from it is entirely up to you, because I'm not pushing it. And that's an address to the chat. I'm not a savior and I'm not a hero. And I do both good and evil. But I am far from a king.
That was well said, man. I respect that.
People
And that's
cast
a
their
good way to.
opinion and
That's a
beliefs
good
on
way
it.
to protect what you say too, so people can't say anything about what you say.
They should,
I like how you said you're not a role model.
no.
You see, there are people that will say, "Oh, this person said this," and try to, you know, hold you accountable for what you said because they look at it differently.
This is interesting.
Is there a spiritual consequence for murder and theft upon ethers? That's what in the group asked. I wonder
Ether.
myself if there is.
Are you talking about your state of being in the ether or utilizing the ether? Others. I don't know. Maybe you should endeavor to put that to use and practice and find out for yourself if there's consequences to it. Because if I told you mine, you would have an opinion of it and you would want to debate it, or you would want to measure it into something that it's not. So my only answer to that is go try it and find out.
Yeah, that's so true. Axel, what you just said.
I've grown tired of people. I really have.
I've seen that
You know,
over and over. Damn, that was well said. People need to listen to what Axis just said, man.
no, I would rather them be ignorant to what I say, so that way they show themselves for what they are. And the few that do catch it, well, may it serve you well. Sorry,
Do
Charles. I just not interested in entertaining someone else's projection of me.
no, I hear the experience in what you're saying. I can tell you have witnessed and that's why you say what you say. You've been through it already. So you know what to expect and you know, so I've seen it over and over myself. Where people will take somebody's experience and debate it or try to challenge it, twist it, and I'm not into the debating and stuff, but some people are. I just
No,
don't want to argue
I
and
don't have
waste my.
to. I don't
I
have
feel
to
like
defend or justify myself to anyone.
you said you choose not to harm others. I don't think well, people do choose, but you know, if I have to defend myself, I hate to hurt people, but I'm sure not gonna let somebody walk over me or try to take my life. I'm gonna fight to the very end. But I think those would be the toughest to live with, man. If you gotta kill somebody, to stand your ground, and you don't want to
Really?
hurt no one. That's a tough cookie to swallow. Let's see the chat. I want to see what people.
Yeah, that's what I've been looking at here, Charles. The cat.
I don't want. I try to pay attention. Let's see. King X's version. Still, both are afterthoughts, and thoughts are things. So one should be able to question things. Thoughts within. I've always wondered where thoughts come from. Some thoughts are spontaneous, like they just come out of left field. And
They come from your subconscious. Your subconscious is consistently, from the time you're born to the time you die, taking in unfiltered information until you learn to filter it. Once you learn to filter information that goes into the subconscious, your conscious thinking becomes clear. But as long as you allow your subconscious just to absorb, then you will have random thoughts, and your mind will spend all of its time trying to make sense of what the subconscious is taking in.
like, I could be thinking to do something, and a thought will come out of nowhere and be like, don't do that. And that thought will be right. Situations like that blow my mind. Some people say we're all biological. There's no spirit.
Well,
Do you think the spirit is separate? Because I think the spirit and soul is the same. I could be wrong. But
how much,
the energy,
I'm sorry, Charles. How
I
much
just,
noise and pollution do you allow yourself to be subjected to every day since the day you were born of irrelevant information or useless information that the subconscious takes in and tries to utilize?
I think it take on more now than I did in my youth. Because I didn't have a phone. I didn't have access in the palm of my hand. And I think that's dangerous, these phones, in a way, by being able to just jump right on there and fill your mind with information all day long.
So what have you done to filter out all that subconscious information that you're taking in, seeing since you haven't disciplined the subconscious yet?
I always tell myself the information, more or less, might not be 100% true. And it's a possibility. I don't try not to attach to things anymore. Like, I try to look at it as the observer and not, like Dom, pick a side. I don't want to pick, I just observe. Information's information. Somebody writing it down. Like you said, they can say anything. They're filled with lies and misdirection.
Well, I
I
suppose
thought I was gaining by reading. But the more I learn, sometimes it depends, man. I think I was better off when I didn't read a lot of things.
well, I suppose if you're content and that what you subject yourself to, unfiltered and in abundance, satisfies your state of being, then there's nothing wrong with that. I mean,
I
we need
still don't know
consumers
who I
every
am.
day. I mean,
I'm
shit,
still
if
trying
it
to
wasn't,
figure out who I am.
if it
This
wasn't
whole
for your
Sorry, Axis, go ahead.
I have nothing to say.
Peace, Kimba.
But I will tell you that the more the subconscious takes in, and especially in today's society, the more of a consumer you are, such as even people that get on YouTube and consume information here, there is an incredible amount of not only subliminal, but frequency and garbage information constantly fed into your subconscious. And your subconscious will spend every waking hour trying to make sense of it to feed it to the awakened state. You'll even dream about it. You'll drag it into your dreams, but you won't take any of it with you when you go.
It's like a waste. It is not like it is.
It's a containment. It's like I said, if you left this realm with something tangible, like a gun, and you entered another state that they did not have kinetic weapons, but yet the physics allowed yours to work, you then become a danger to the tangible. So it's best that humans stay within the intangible range and crippled, contained, and handicapped, lest they do more harm than they already have.
Like a parasite entering into a sustained environment. I could picture it. Environment working as a unit, and then someone comes along and poisons it, and that's it.
Well, that's what happened here.
Yeah.
If you ever go inside yourself to see the true history of this place, and not only that, but the way it uses processing speed and processing space, you'll understand the cycles. And then once you understand the cycles and you look into the substance of how and why you were here, then you will understand a far greater thing, that it is best we be confined. We take one tangible thing with us into the threshold of that which I consider to be truly tangible. All we have to offer is just destruction, ego, pride, opinion, arrogance, personal advancement.
You think it's capable for an individual to let all that go and become what one used to be?
Yes, I do. But do I think that people will do it? No. No. I say they'll talk a good game. I think they'll even get on YouTube and panel and chat and talk a good game. But as far as doing the work to become that, no.
It would be a hard road to go down at first.
Yes, it is.
At first, but I think once you start chipping at it and really putting your mind and self to it, it's accomplishable, like you said, I think. Even for myself, shit. Huh.
But are you willing to pay the price? Are you willing to give up all of the concepts, ideals, comforts, and the things that you've experienced from your birth till now to be able to walk without disruption?
That's a tough fucking question. Man. I want to say yes, but then I thought that's a selfish yes. Um, to erase, well, you know, meaning erase everything. You won't remember your mother, nothing. Shit.
Well, if you're truly looking for what you say you're looking for, or you go on that adventure to find it, what does your mother have to do with it? What does
That's what I was
anything
thinking.
that
Sorry,
has to do
Mom.
with?
I would. I think I would do
I
it.
mean, being aware of environmental dangers is one thing, but to carry any weight with you, such as what maybe someone thinks of you or what you think of them, or an opinion or an ideal that isn't solidified, you do yourself an injustice.
Everyone has an opinion. It's just part of life. But yeah, like you said, to let it really bother you and make that chemical
Why?
imbalance in the mind, feelings come out. It's a
Well,
waste of
when
energy.
you stop, an opinion is an ideal that you'll compile, whether it's real or not, whether it's lie or truth. I think the only true opinion is that which you understand of yourself, because you're not ever going to be seen through everyone's eyes with equality, acceptance, understanding, or friendship. But once you stop making opinions of yourself and you accept the truth of yourself, and that's the hard truth, not your platitude truths or what you've got some ideal that people conceive as the truth, you'll find yourself very alone and on a path that will lead you completely away from this waking state.
Because a lot of situations, like, I don't know, this life, it's almost like people are trying to prove something. You know, they gotta have the best car, the most sneakers. It's all material stuff. Become attached to that. But when you let all that go and you realize you have nothing to prove to anyone but yourself. Peace, Lapis Blue. Yeah, I appreciate you coming up here, Axis. A lot of what you said is definitely information that can be applied to life. I really appreciate it.
You're welcome, Charles, and thank you for having me up here. Are you ready for me to leave now?
No, I'm gonna jump off in like 15, 20 minutes.
Okay. Well, I'll jump off here. Maybe you'll get a few good rebuttals, and we'll talk at you again this week.
All right, Axis, thank you. Have a great day.
You too, brother.
That was awesome. That's information, like, that's some powerful stuff that was said by Axis, man. I really appreciate that. Definitely gonna go back and listen to this a few times. Axis is older than me too, I think, yeah. By probably a decade maybe, but he has more experience than me in life. I've always been attracted to elders because they have more experience. Like my grandfather, you know. I think a lot of respect for the elders is lost due to the newer generations. And that's the best wisdom, comes from the older people that have already experienced, especially for the youth, because you're going to go down a road they already went down. So who better to ask? I'm about to jump off, Lonnie. I gotta go do some stuff, man. And man, I appreciate everybody. And I would check you out tomorrow. Don't call me old. No, we're not old, man. We're still young. We're only halfway around to the race. We still have another half to run. So we're still young. I don't ever want to tell myself I'm old. Fuck that. Now, if I'm like 69, 70, then I know my time's expiring quick. I still have a good 40 years to enjoy if I stay healthy and fucking get my shit intact. Shit, maybe I could push 110. Life's too short in this place, in my opinion. It's disappointing to know we might only have 70 years, even though this place is filled with a lot of obstacles. But hey, I'm out, man. Peace to everyone. Much love and respect, and I'll check you out next time. Peace.